And welcome to episode 2 of College Kings.
Episode 2, baby. Let's do this.
Yes, sir. CDM. We're here, brother.
Oh, man. We are 1 week away from week 1 officially, and I could not be any happier. Week 0 was good, but week 1 is where all the bread, all the cards fall in line.
Yes.
And that's where the real week of football starts.
Dang right, brother. You were so right. It's crazy. It's finally here. Got a game on Thursday we're going to talk about. We talked about it last week, but we're going to get really into it this week.
Honestly, that game has game of the year. Could be written all over it depending on how it goes.
Exactly. Yes, we got all those games to talk about. Got some if games, and then we got some big ones. But we're going to go kind of recap last week. It wasn't much to recap, but we're going to recap the two ranked teams. And then we're going to give some predictions. We got to give those early season predictions. We're going to be wrong.
Gotta go with the game predictions, dude. Nothing beats just sitting down, looking at the games, and just predicting who's going to win, who's going to be the underdog that you're going to cheer for. Everybody loves a good underdog.
Yes.
Okay, there's always going to be that underdog throughout the week that you're going to be like, okay, they have a legit chance to do something. There's as I say, diamond in the rough. Yes. Always a diamond in the rough somewhere.
Dang right. So true. It's just it's wild that we get to pick these first games, and then we make some obviously award and ranking predictions. Those are big time. Like I said, we're gonna be wrong. You know, we're gonna look back at this week 12 and probably be like, "Oh my gosh, we're the stupidest people on the planet." Or
it's not gonna be perfect, but for right now, I think this is we both have our teams that we think that are gonna be there at the end of the year. Things could change over time, but I'm pretty locked in on the teams I have right now.
Yeah, I mean, right there with you. The best part is when you do these things, you put them out, you put your receipts out to the world, and then everyone can judge you when you're wrong. But if you're right, man, it feels good, don't it?
Oh, dude, it feels so good if you're right. It feels amazing.
Exactly. We could talk about that all day. Let's get right into this, brother. Let's recap, man. Let's recap what we saw last week. Obviously, we only saw Notre Dame and USC play, and they didn't play anybody, too powerhousey. Obviously, it was.
Yeah, there were a couple games. There were a couple of smaller games last week that were entertaining. College football, doesn't matter how big the school you are. It just matters the intensity, the love for the game. Everything that comes towards it. I mean, you're fighting for either a playoff spot or a bowl spot, obviously. But, there's always those smaller games to look out for. But the two big games were Notre Dame going up against Navy, and then South California going up against San Jose State.
Yep.
Not the biggest games that you said, but were a good way to start off the week for college football for sure.
Yeah, man, and like you said, bro, there was some fun games to watch. I watched that Vandy Hawaii game. That was a fun game.
I watched the Law Tech game.
That was a good game.
It was a fun game to play. It was a fun game to watch for sure.
Yes, I mean, and I could watch literally anybody play early in the season and be entertained.
Dude, I can watch football. I can just watch football, dude. It doesn't matter who's playing right now. I'll just watch it.
That's where I was watching the Saints. Obviously, it's the Saints, but it's a preseason yesterday, and I was watching them and Jimmy Graham making those catches. I was like, "Ooh!" I was like full regular season mode, baby.
I mean, I caught a little bit of the Aaron Rodgers debut for New York.
God, he looked good, didn't he?
I'm a Dolphins fan, so I'm not going to give you the satisfaction of me saying this, but I will say that he does look good in a Jets uniform.
He
does do that.
It does. It didn't look weird. It didn't look weird, but let's stick to college.
It looked right. Honestly, it looked kind of right.
It did. Well, let's get to this college, y'all. That's what we're here to do. Like we said, there was fun games to watch. I watched the Vanderbilt Hawaii game. It was a good game, but let's get into these ranked games. We'll start with the Notre Dame game. Got a new quarterback out there.
And there's a new face in that offense now under the helm, and by the name of Wake Forest transfer Sam Hartman.
Yes,
had a really good time at Wake Forest. A 4-year starter. Last year had a really bad heart condition. Thank God he's good. Yes. The Lord took care of him and made him right. And as I told you before, if Sam Hartman's starting from week 1, then they could possibly be a playoff contending team, Wake Forest. I mean, you go into that ACC championship game and having to play a 2-loss North Carolina team. I mean, they have an absolute chance to make the playoffs.
Yep.
But, things can't play out right. But, the good Lord took care of a boy, Sam,
Yes.
let him go back on the field and play the sport that he loves to play, But that's a big name to watch out for in that Notre Dame offense right now.
You couldn't have said any better, man. I mean, he looked the part. I mean, if you're a Notre Dame fan and you're a little nervous, like, oh, what are we going to see from this offense? It's been mediocre at times, bad at times, and now you get this guy he has proved himself over the years, and he comes in and looks like that. I know it's Navy. Put my hands up. Everyone knows it's Navy.
Hey, Navy's no slouch.
No,
Navy's no slouch. Navy can give the best of the teams a run for their money.
Exactly. And it's like no one's like out here saying they're the champions after that game. No one's ever saying that. But when you see a new guy, new offense, new players, new system, new coaches, everything's new, and he comes in and plays like he's been there for the last 4 years. I mean, if you're a fan, you got to be like, okay, all right, that's fun. That's fun.
You have a legit chance. I mean, no disrespect to Ian Book, no disrespect to Tyler Buchner, who's over at Alabama now. He could be the starting quarterback week 1 coming out for my boys.
Yes.
But, no disrespect to them, but they never had a high caliber quarterback like Sam, somebody who could push it downfield. And I got a note right here that says, can Sam be the guy? Can Sam be that Notre Dame quarterback that can lead them to a playoff win, possibly a national championship appearance? So here's what I have. So the 12, when he played at Wake Forest, he played 12 games, he had 4,228 passing yards to 39 touchdowns and 14 interceptions as a sophomore. That was a sophomore year, okay? Last year, he comes in after the heart condition. He has 3,701 yards to 38 touchdowns and 12 interceptions. That's really not bad, honestly. I mean, you can say he fell back because of that medical condition, but the numbers prove for themselves. He missed a couple games and still balled out.
Yeah.
And Notre Dame needs a guy like that. And I feel like, the supporting cast around him may not be what he had at Wake Forest, but if he can work with what he's got and Notre Dame could continue to progress throughout the season, then I feel like they have a legit shot at making the playoffs this year.
I mean, yeah. I mean, we talked about it beforehand. Notre Dame offensively made their bucks on the ground. And it's not like they don't got talent back there. We talked about that kid this week. We talked about it by committee. They all looked good. And when you got the run game like that, we talk about Wake Forest, and we talk about the offense the last 3-4 years. It was air attack, man. That's where they beat you.
Air heavy, dude. I mean, they were pushing the ball downfield. They had a little bit of a run game, but mostly when you have a quarterback that pushes it down the field like that, you don't really want to stray away from it.
It's
but
true.
You have to have a solidified run game nowadays to really pull that offense all together. You can't have a heavy pass game and not really have a good run game. If you're averaging 3 to 4 yards a carry on each run play, that's not going to win you a game. If you're on a 3rd and 5, you're not – you have options to pass the ball, but if you don't have a solidified run game, you're not really going to have a solidified offense, especially nowadays where defenses are so good now.
Yeah.
You have to have a complete team nowadays, like Georgia. Georgia's a complete example. They have a solidified defense and a really solid offense to put numbers up on the board.
Yes.
So you have to have both of those to be in play for the college football playoffs.
I mean, it's so true because you look at offenses now, and I mean Georgia's a perfect example of there's a recency bias obviously there, but it's like when you look at it's fun to watch. It was fun to watch the Alabama offense in 2020. It was fun to watch the 2019 LSU, 2018 or 2020, 22 Ohio State, 2018 Clemson. But even Clemson back then, they had a run game. And these teams that when you have a guy like Sam, get back to him. When you got a guy like Sam who's carried offenses his entire college career, now you have a running room. You got a running back room that's legit.
I mean, we were talking about that. We were talking about that running back S-time.
Yeah, I think that's how it's said.
In my opinion, he could be a 3-down back.
Yes.
In 2022, he averaged 5.9 yards a carry, and he had 11 touchdowns, and he had 920 yards off 156 carries. 2023, you come in. He still averages 9.5 yards, but 1 touchdown and 95 yards off of 95 carries. So we had a down year for sure from 2022 to 2023. We had a down year. I'm guessing injuries.
But he wasn't the number one guy either, right?
I think he is. I mean, he's the starting back.
No, this year he is. I don't think he was last year.
I don't know who the starting back was last year.
It was oh man, I gotta look it up. But no, you're right. When it comes to that, but like this is the one thing I wanted to talk about with their running backs is that this week 95 for S-Time, 95 yards, 16 carries, like you said. Jemiah Love, number 2 running back, 40 yards, four rushing attempts. Jabrain Payne, 31 yards on 6 attempts. And Jadarian Price, 25 yards, 4 attempts, and a touchdown. It's like
they have a backfield from what you just read me. They got a backfield.
Yeah. Yes. It's crazy. I mean, looking at it, they're not pulling up anything. Payne is a wild card. Oh man, I guess you're right. I guess this was technically the team. Okay, yeah. Last year, Chris Tyree was the number 1 running back for this team last year.
What he looked like?
Had good numbers: 718 rushing yards, 323 receiving yards, 8 touchdowns, and then S-Time. Yeah, it looks like he may have got injured because Logan Diggs was number 2 back. He wasn't injured, so I guess S-Time just kind of waited his turn, and he's the junior in the room now.
2022, you have 920 yards and 11 tuds on the ground. I mean, I don't know if that's all on the ground because if that was, I mean, that's legendary right there. Honestly, 11 touchdowns. I mean, dear Lord. But I mean, if he can take a step up and have another season like he did in 2022, then I mean,
he was Sam doesn't. Yeah, you're right. He was the lead back last year. I don't know what that stat I just pulled up was saying.
But the thing is like he only had 1 touchdown last year, but he averaged 5 yards carry. So I mean that team is doing something good. That offensive line is opening up holes to get that run, for the running back to run through. So the quarterback doesn't have to really worry about much. And that's the thing about Notre Dame. I feel like they don't want to put the game in their quarterback's hands. Yeah. I don't feel like they've had a really clutch quarterback over these past few years. Now they have somebody that can really put the ball, like in clutch moments, they can put the ball in his hand and let him go to work for it. Yes. That's the reason I like Sam. I've always liked Sam coming from Wake Forest. I liked him a lot. If he would have went into last year's draft, I don't feel like he would have been a top 5 quarterback. He probably would have been maybe a day 3, day 4 type of guy. Yeah. But now he's got a chance to really push that draft stock up. Yes. Prove himself that he's the top 5 quarterback in this year's class and, make a playoff run for this team for sure because this team has enough talent. The running back room is good from what we just saw. The wide receiver room is something to be a little iffy about. But if he can work around that and get those guys to work with him, then he has a chance to be a Heisman finalist and a top 5 quarterback.
Yeah. So I pulled up the stats. We were misreading it. So technically, the 95 yards is this year. Last year, he did have 920 yards. So he did ball last year. He was the number 1 guy last year. So
20. Okay, I got you.
Yeah, we were just meeting.
Like he had a really good time.
So yeah, I mean, 11 tuds last year, 156 rushing carries, and then 920 rushing yards. Yeah, he was the guy last year. I just kind of a guy that I didn't hear about. I mean,
he was kind of under the radar.
It was Notre Dame, I guess.
He has a legit chance. Like when I was watching film about that game, they said that he has the quirks to be a 3-down back. Yeah. He can run downhill, he can block, he can catch passes outside of the backfield. I mean, what more could you ask for?
I know, right?
I mean, besides splitting him out into the slot and making him play receiver for some downs.
5'11", 227. That's a big boy. I mean, 5'11".
I mean, from what I saw when I was watching that film, I mean, he could run downfield, dude. Like he will truck you over.
He's just a big boy. He's not tall.
Kind of reminds me of a more elusive Leonard Fournette.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, kind of a shorter version of him.
Still has that power enough to to run somebody over and get a couple more yards.
Yeah, that's Yeah,
kind of a sleeper, so watch out for him. I'm putting his name out there.
You actually hit it right on the dot. Leonard Fournette, 6 foot, 228. So, I mean, yeah, he's a guy to watch.
Really? That's insane.
Yeah, that was dang close, bro. This team was so fun, but when it comes back to their performance, I don't want to look too much into it. We can agree on that. It was Navy, like we said. Don't disrespect Navy, but I'm
not going to disrespect him, but it was also in Dublin, so
yes.
Different atmosphere.
Them Notre Dame fans showed up, bro. Whew.
Oh, dude, I think it was like 39,000 people, like 39,000 Americans went to that game, and that stadium was packed.
Oh, it was full. It was full.
Like, it just shows how global this sport is getting.
Yes, it's so true, man.
But back to Sam. Honestly, he didn't have the most breathtaking performance, but he had the performance I figured that he would have just to start off the season with a new team. He didn't have the most amazing plays, but he had the plays to win the game.
Yeah. Yeah, he had one play where I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Right, this guy.
He's going to honestly, he's going to have a couple of those games this year.
Yeah. But it was like one play, it was third down, I think, and it was in the pocket, stepped back, navigated up in the pocket, threw it on the run right to the end zone, touchdown. It was like, okay, that's the same Harton everybody wants. But like I said, it's one of those things. You can't look too much into this game. But the one point I do want to make real quick is that it's a super small sample size, but this is by the standard of one university and the standard of another university. We'll have to see, but that's a valid point. I'm willing to make a bet that this is the best defense that Hartman's ever had.
Oh, 100%. I don't think Wake Forest has ever had maybe a top 20 defense.
Exactly.
Top 20 in college, for people who don't know, is still good.
That's very good. Yeah, the stats
top
are
20 in college is still good. It's not the best, but it's not the worst.
Yeah, the stats are so saturated by the conference
he's playing in.
Yeah.
He's still going to have to play against some of the competition he's played before. He still has to play Clemson. He still probably has to play North Carolina. But if you look at Notre Dame's schedule, you have to play Ohio State, you got to play South Cal, and you have to play Clemson. I don't know how Clemson's going to do this year, but those two other teams right there, South Cal and Ohio State, they're not going to be any slouches. And those are his two proven games, I think. Those are going to be the two proven games.
Yeah. Yeah. He's got the opportunity to really, really show out. So I'll start this one off. We have a question in here. Is he a legit Heisman candidate? And I'll say this. I think he will be a Heisman candidate and maybe the favorite if, like we said, he beats Ohio State, USC, and Clemson. If he wins those games, who's to say he doesn't win it?
Who's to say he's not a first overall? I'm not going to say first overall draft pick, but who's not to say a first round draft pick?
Yeah, he can be a top 10 pick.
Listen, he can go and beat the snot out of USC and Caleb Williams. That is not going to turn my head to Caleb Williams being the number 1 overall pick. That's not going to turn my head. But in my opinion, right now he is not my Heisman favorite. But later into the season, show me more. Win those big games that you have to win to make a push, and then we'll see if he as you said, if he wins those 3 games, probably a Heisman winner, dude. And if he balls out, he's got to have a baller season this year. I'm talking about putting up close to 4,500 yards. He put up 38 touchdowns last year. If he puts up 45 to 50 touchdowns and minimizes those picks, so 4,500 yards, 40-plus touchdowns, and less than 10 picks, that's a Heisman winner, dude.
Yeah, that's winner stats. And
that's winner stats right there, dude. It just depends on if you put up those stats, your game has to back it up.
Yes, and wins.
That. But we'll see when it comes to the season. Yeah, and wins. But we'll see when it comes to the season for sure. But right now, I think I'm going to put him outside of the top 5.
I hear that. I understand where you're coming from there. And we're going to definitely get into our Heisman candidates a little bit later in this podcast. But great win for Notre Dame. We could agree. It's going to be fun to see them.
Good win for sure.
We'll have to see what they do this week. I think they have another pretty easy game. Let's see. Hang on. I think it's another pretty easy game. I have
probably some scrub team, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Probably some trash team. Let's just be honest.
I think it is. Let's see.
Why should it be like Western Michigan?
Oh, God, it's even worse. It's even worse. Tennessee.
What is it?
Tennessee State.
Dude, oh my God. That's like a 5. I'm calling like a 5 touchdown game.
That's what I said.
300 yards passing.
I haven't even dropped the spread yet.
Percentage.
Oh God, there's no telling what that spread's gonna be, bro.
It's gonna be at least like spread. It's above 30 points.
Oh, easily. I won't be surprised by that.
But now let's move on to the next game that happened.
Yes, let's move on to this USC win over San Jose State. There was a little bit of a God. No, it was one of those games where at the beginning you were like, "Oh, San Jose State."
Yeah, at the beginning you were thinking, "Oh, maybe it could be a little bit of a fun game in the first half."
Yeah, and then it switched pretty quickly. But like we said, I mean, this is one of those games another game you don't look too much into, but it's one of those sample games for people that are like, is USC legit this year? Have they fixed their problems? And
dude, what I'm going to tell you later is just like, think of it as like a preseason game, but I'll get to that once you make your points, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's one of those games that when you're watching it at the moment it's happening, you're like, what is this? What is this? And I do still have a little bit of that in me, but it's one of those games for me. It's like USC, first game of the season, classic Lincoln Riley. Offense looks incredible. Caleb Williams pulls off some craziness that overshadows the reality of it. And I think the reality,
that fumbled snap going for 40, going for like 76 yards.
He's ridiculous.
Like I mean, I don't know how he does it, but I mean, it's like Patrick Mahomes in college, but like 10 times better.
I mean, he's literally ridiculous, man. I've seen players like it, but players that have it's like his expectations were so high. And
he's meeting those expectations.
He's overcoming them. It's like, dude, he's
surpassing them. That's a perfect way to explain it. He is overcoming those expectations and making like these outlandish plays that nobody thinks he can make.
Yep.
And he's shutting up all these haters. Have you met one Caleb Williams hater?
And if you are, bro, what are you doing? USC hater,
if
that's
you're a
one
Caleb
thing.
Williams hater out there, I don't know what you're watching. I don't know what ball you're watching. I don't know if you know the sport of football. Obviously, you're not watching the same things I'm watching because this dude is balling right now. Like when it's insane.
He's crazy, man. I mean, I'll just say this. Caleb Williams, Superman, dog. You could use every word in the football playbook. You could him. You can use all of those sports terms. I don't even know if it well defines him enough, but
all the pronouns.
I mean, he's that dude, man, and there's not much more to say about him in that offense. The offense is going to be special. Obviously, you want to see him play against a legit defense and not San Jose's defense, but I think we can all agree that they're going to be an elite offense. It's more about –
I think I'm looking at least maybe a top 5 offense at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Like for sure. But the big question is not the offense.
Yeah.
It's that defense. That defense is the big question. I agree with you on how the offense is powerful, how they have all those playmakers, like Zachariah Branch, freshman coming in from Bishop Gorman, track star, dude, absolute athlete, had a 96-yard return kick, and a 25-yard touchdown pass.
Wasn't that ridiculous?
In his freshman debut. Insane.
That kick return was crazy, bro.
Oh, dude, he's going to be a name to watch out for in these later years.
Yes.
But the biggest thing for them is their defense. So I was talking to Nolan today, and they looked at it as a preseason game. They played 22 different guys on that defense. 22 different guys.
Jeez.
After all those transfers in the transfer portal hit that were defensive players and the recruits they got, they played 22 different guys. And I understand that, dude. You have to find a legit starter for each position. But if you're playing that many guys in week 1, what are you going to do in week 2, week 3, if nobody is waking up, dude? You know how bad not even bad, inconsistent your defense is going to be? I mean, I understand why they do this, to find the guys, to find that hidden talent. And I think they will, because they have hit in the transfer portal and in their recruitment classes. They have no excuse this year to have a bottom 10 defense. Like, if you're going to have a top 5 offense and you're going to have all this hype to go to to make a playoff appearance, you got to have a defense to back you up. You can't have a defense that's allowing 30 points a game to keep up with your offense. That's what's killed them these past couple of years. That, and I feel like Caleb Williams may have gotten a little too cocky sometimes. I feel like Caleb may have gotten a little too in his bag and kind of threw away the games. But, I mean, going back, they got swept by Utah last year.
Yeah.
Got swept in the regular season and in the Pac-12 championship game because their defense could not close out. That's what they need to work on the most, and that's the one thing, in my opinion, they need to fix. Who's going to be your starting 11 guys on that defense? You already have your offense figured out. You can probably pick and choose who you want Caleb to throw the ball to, but, I mean, your defense has to be the one system that you have to work on this year to make a legit chance to make a run.
Yeah. I mean, you the one thing that I loved the most that you said was, I mean, the transfer portal. I mean, they hit it. Like, the defensive line.
Hit it, dude. Everybody who transfers to USC is going to, first off, it's California, so it's a beautiful place to be, but you're going for Lincoln Riley, dude. But another thing is like, Lincoln Riley, what has he really done these past couple years except produce Heisman winners?
The quarterback machine.
Quarterback guru, as I said last week. Quarterback guru. But, I mean, he has no playoff wins at all. So now you have a legit chance to go back to the playoffs and possibly make a national championship and bring USC back to where they used to be a couple, like 10, 20 years ago. A legit championship winning team. You have the quarterback, you have a wide receiver, you have an offense. Figure out that defense, bud. Once you figure out that defense, you will be a stud. And that's the one thing he never figured out at Oklahoma. He had a stud firepower offense, but he had a defense who could not win him games.
Yeah, and then he makes the move to USC thinking he's going to get the recruits out there and still can't land the recruits out there.
Still can't land the recruits, man. Still can't win. He can't win the games.
It's one of those things, man. It's such a thing that lingers over Lincoln Riley. And when does he get rid of that thing, that just that dark cloud that is always going to say that he does not have a good defense? And it comes when you finally get like you said, get the lineup in. How do you not have a lineup for game 1? I get it, San Jose State. You can
test week 0. It's not even week 1.
Yeah,
it's week 0. I mean, technically it is week 1 for them.
Yeah,
but it's week 0, bro. You should have designated starters for each position.
And I get it. It's San Jose State. You want to test some of these players out. There's nothing wrong with that.
You want to get you want to get fresh meat out there and let them understand how fast the college world is.
Yeah, and maybe you find a stud, like a hidden gem in the third quarter when you're already winning big. Maybe. But like you said, if you see these teams, the Georgias, the Alabamas, the Clemson's back in 2017, 16, and 18, LSU back in the day,
Ohio State's
back good defense back then. They've had their stars, they've had their players they have their leaders that make that defense. And yeah, not every single player is elite. Not every single player is going to make it to the league. But when you have a Will Anderson, when you have a Harold Perkins for the LSU this year, you have a Joey Bosa, Chase Young, you have a Clemson back in the day, you get Miles Murphy.
You have Christian
Wilkins, you
have Brian Bresee, Miles Murphy. Names that stick out. No, dude, they had Corey Foreman.
That's the biggest no-show in my opinion.
Dude, that is
5-star.
We've seen some busts in our life, and I don't want to classify him as a bust, but he has not produced the way I thought he would do.
I know that. Let's see if he did anything on defense.
He had a better chance at Clemson than he did anywhere else.
Hell, he should have came to the Saints. Huh? LSU, bro. We were in the freaking final. Nothing. I don't see anything on here. Hang on. Defense. Damani
Number
Jackson.
0.
Damani Jackson's good. I'll say that. He is good on that defense.
Damani Jackson is good from last year. I remember him.
Oh, man.
Dude, if his name doesn't even pop up on the stat sheet, just shows how bad he is now.
That's wild,
I wouldn't even say bad, just how disappointing it is.
That's my thing is, like, this dude has so much hype.
I don't want to say he's bad. I just say how disappointing the performance is.
I mean, yeah, for a guy that 5-star athlete comes in and everyone's got these high hopes for him.
Number 1 overall recruit in his class.
2-year career. He's only had 24 tackles, 4.5 for loss, 2.5 sacks, and he did have an interception. So he's going into his junior year. Will compete for playing time. I mean, he's competing for playing time in his junior year, man.
Dude, no, transfer. Hit that portal, dude. There's no need for him to stay.
That's wild, man. That's crazy.
There's no need, bro. He had Ohio State. He had Clemson. He had LSU. He had Bama. He had every team coming after him. And if I was him, I'd probably go after Ohio State. Ohio State at least pushes out defensive linemen.
Wanted to stay at home. He's a homer. Hey, look at him go, man. I
wish him the best, dude. I hope he wins. I mean, he needs to live up to that hype that he has because, like, coming out of high school, he's a dog.
He was, man, and hopefully he figures it out. But USC, we could stick on this forever, like I said. But good performance. Obviously, wasn't perfect.
I mean, Caleb had a good performance. 18 of 25, 278, and 4 touch. I mean, can't complain about those numbers.
Can't complain at all. And we know.
Didn't you tell me that Sam Hartman's throwing 82% right now?
Through 82% game 1. Yep. 19 of 23.
Disgusting.
Crazy.
That is absolutely filthy.
Crazy. Let's see what. So let me see. Hang on. Let me see what Caleb's match is up to. Let's see. His passer rating right now is 72, which is also ridiculous.
So, I mean, that's NFL status right there, dude.
That's legitness right there, brother. All right. Let's get this thing moving. I think we recapped enough on these 2 squads where they will be playing.
I mean, I respect both squads, and I think both of them. I think we can both agree that they are both, at the end of the day, can be top 5 teams, depending on strength of schedule and how they play. Because both of them have some tough games ahead.
Yep.
I think SC probably has some more. I think SC has some more sneaky games that can get by them, per se, like a Colorado. Like, they can get upset by Colorado if that happens. But I think
then the Notre Dame game is the one I'm watching.
I think at the end of the day, both of them can end up being better teams than they were last year, especially South Cal. They definitely have the potential to be a better team.
Yeah, they better, man. They've got a lot of expectations riding this season. They play Nevada.
Well, I mean, they have a Heisman winner, dude. And speaking of Heisman, I think we have to predict.
Yeah.
You know, who's your Heisman this year?
Yeah, man. Let's. I'll just say real quick though. USC plays Nevada next week, so we'll see how they do. And like I said, Notre Dame plays. Yeah, I know. Hey, everyone gets those easy games every now and then. And then Notre Dame plays Tennessee State, like we said. Like you said, let's keep this thing moving. Hang on, instead of Heisman's, let's give this top 6. Let's give this top 6.
I'm fine with that. Let's go ahead with your top 6.
Let's get into this.
First, sir.
We got the playoffs. Obviously, we got to make some predictions. Like we said, these are our. Well, since the season started, it's not preseason anymore. So first of the year predictions. I am gonna lay mine out real quick here. This is tough. I mean, it's hard not to be a little bit of a homer. Obviously,
it took some time to really think about this.
Yep, and like we said, we try to be unbiased. The thing is that we have teams that have legit opportunities this year. I wouldn't say this if I didn't believe it. Trust me, I'm a realist when it comes to this. It does seem a little homerish with this first pick. With these couple of these picks, but for me, I think we got a season and an opportunity for the Ohio State Buckeyes to reclaim their throne in the Big Ten, and I think
I got you. I see that happen. I can see that happening. Quarterback is going to be the question, but the surrounding cast around that offense is going to be the big deal.
Yep.
Quarterback can come and go. I mean, it just depends on what that position does.
Yeah. And for me, it's they were the only team that was legitimately close to Georgia last year, talent-wise. They proved it in that game. I know, like you said, quarterback, they don't have C.J. Stroud anymore, and that's a big deal. But I think these two quarterbacks they're choosing between are legit quarterbacks, and they have a talent to win football games. But like we said, the talent is so unreal on Ohio State from top to bottom where I'm willing to –
on both sides of the ball. On both sides of the ball.
On both sides of the ball, and I'm willing to say, that they can win games based on that, not just quarterback play. And with that being said, I think they have a quarterback in McCord that if he starts, they can win any football game. I do believe that, and so they're going to be my number one seed going into this season. They're going to be my favorite to finish number one when it comes to the playoff rankings.
I like it. That would be a big step up for Ryan Day. Honestly, I'm going to put Ryan Day in the hot seat, dude. If he does not do anything this year, I could see him getting booted out the door.
I don't know if he gets booted, but it gets to a point where you're like, all right, bro, you gotta put it together. You gotta get the.
Well, see, I mean, if you think about it,
you lost to Michigan last 2 years.
He's 1-2 in playoff games. He's 0-1 in championship games, and he's 0-2. Well, yeah, he's 0-2 right now these past 2 years against Michigan. So I mean, there's reasons to put him in the hot seat.
Yeah,
but it just depends on how the season goes.
Yeah,
but continue, sir.
No, yeah, I mean, you hit that one on the nail. It's Ohio State's got a lot to play for, and that's one of the reasons why I think they're going to be a little bit better this year. I think Ryan Day's coming with a fire this year. It feels like every year we say that, but it's like this year feels a little different. I know
this year feels legit. Like this year feels like a legit year.
Yeah, and like last year, you could have said that with CJ, but I don't know. There was something about Michigan last year that was like after they lost to Georgia in that playoff, it was like, all right, they got the experience now. They could beat Georgia. They still beat Ohio State, so it's like, all right, and then lose to TCU. So besides that, let's keep this thing. Got smacked, but let's keep this thing moving.
Oh, forgot. Did you hear Max Duncan got waived today?
Wow, bro. Wow. I never thought he'd be a legit NFL quarterback. It's kind of hard to see, though. It's kind of sad.
Well, actually. I mean, look at the team. He was on the Chargers, bro. He's not playing.
Yeah, that team. Yeah.
I mean, look at this. Playing. If I'm the Patriots, I'm going to pick him up. That's just me.
Let me see.
Think about it.
Let me see this QB room for the Chargers. Yeah.
He's not playing, dude. He's got Herbert in front of him. He's not playing.
Easton Stick is there. He's been there for a minute. So let's keep this thing going, though. Number 2, it's based on schedule, based on opportunities, and this could easily be either or of the SEC teams that I have in my top 6. But I'm going to go with LSU here. I think when it comes down to quarterback play, when it comes down to talent everywhere, I think they compete with everyone. I'm not saying they have the best talent in the league. I think they have an absolute game wrecker on defense that hasn't I don't think he's going to be a Heisman candidate, but I think he has an opportunity to put him in. I think he has an opportunity to put himself in that kind of conversation.
Listen, man, like that Arkansas game last year was his breakout game. Like I remember watching that game at the house, like at the crib. Like he balled out that game, and he is not the biggest linebacker. Like he's a linebacker.
Yeah.
But he's not like that off the edge type of guy at every play. No. He's going to be that guy that you send on a fast blitz and he's going to get there.
Yeah.
Like he's good. So I respect that decision. Harold Perkins is y'all's defensive guy. He's and if there's anybody to give the jersey, if number 7's going to anybody, it better be going to him.
It better, bro. I think they're deciding on that like this week. So I am very intrigued to see who gets 7 and 18. But like you said, though, it's like, and I don't like comparing players that much. I mean, especially your players that are in the league. But, I mean, I see so many flashes of like maybe a smaller, quicker version of a Michael Parsons, in my opinion.
Dude, I was just thinking the same thing.
He's just –
I would say Micah Parsons or I would say Micah Parsons or oh, man. Probably a smaller version of Khalil Mack, not the brute strength, but just the quickness off the line.
Yeah.
To get off the line, the play recognition as well. And and the breakaway speed. He's got sneaky speed, dude.
Yeah, he does.
I'm thinking at least 4 or 5 speed right there.
I mean, I'm looking it up. Let's see. Comparison. I want to see what the experts. Miles Jack. That's an honesty, even though he just retired.
Miles Jack's a good one.
He's retired, so. But no, I mean, it's that kind of a player, man. He could play as a linebacker that can play in coverage, but he's also an absolute monster on the edge. We saw what he did, and he was sick for that Arkansas game. So it's like, man, I mean, that was his flu game, bro. That was his Jordan flu game.
I was about to say he had his Jordan game right there.
Yeah, but like I said, when it comes to the point with LSU, for me, it's just I think their talent matches up with almost everybody's in the country, and I think Jaden Daniels is ready to take that next step forward. And I think that that receiving core is really good, and I think we've got a really good running back room. And I think the tight end room's good. It's one of those things where, and Brian Kelly is playing for it, man. I mean, he's literally done everything in his career besides win a championship. I mean, he's done it all.
He had a championship, but he lost it.
Exactly. So I almost said that and I remembered. But, I mean, it's one of those things for me. It's like you got a team. Screw you. No, you got a team that's like they're playing for something. Obviously, LSU wants to get back to that standard, even though they just won in 2019. But there's a standard at LSU.
Yeah, it's been a couple. I mean, I'm not gonna lie now. It's been a couple years now.
But yeah, I mean, it's like the 2019 is almost tarnished with all the just terribleness after that with Coach O. It's like,
well, I mean, you had pure talent. I mean, you were, I would say, spoiled with talent on that team. I mean, you had NFL talent. That was an NFL team.
Yeah.
Like, I can say the same thing with the 2020 Bama team and the 2019 Bama team as well. I mean, LSU and Bama, 2 years straight NFL teams, man. I mean, NFL talent everywhere. So, I mean, I understand what you mean. I think Jalen Daniels is primed to have a Heisman season this year. His biggest obstacle is going to be Bama.
Yes.
To win the West, he has to beat Bama.
Yep.
Again, if he can beat Bama and Bryant-Denny this year, I hope it doesn't happen. But if it does happen, then mad respect. But if he does do it, he's primed to have a really good season, and that's going to jump him up into that quarterback talk and his as a draft prospect as well.
Yeah,
that's going to bump him up a bunch if he can go in, win the West again, win the SEC, and make a playoff appearance.
Yeah, exactly. And that's another point. Like I was saying, that they're playing for something else. He's playing for a job. I don't know. I don't personally know how good Jaden Daniels will be in the NFL. It's one of those plays where it's like it's a hard transition for a player that small that relies so much on his legs. It's one of those hard things for me to.
Honestly, he's not that small. I think he's like 6'3".
It's not
200.
But it's his weight. It's his weight for me. For a guy, it's like Bryce Young. Yeah, they talked about how small he was, but Bryce Young is not a guy that's gonna tuck it down and run and try and break people's ankles every single other play.
Some dude tried to tell me at work that Bryce Young's overrated because of his offensive line and his players around him. I told him, I was like, don't start right now.
You can say that about every college quarterback that's at an elite school.
He said that, and I was just like, I was about to be like, I had to hold my tongue because I was about to unleash ungodly hellfire on him.
Yeah,
it was not going to.
You could literally say that about every quarterback that's ever been.
You could say that about like Caleb Williams, dude. Like Caleb Williams made the plays, but look at the surrounding cast.
Joe Burrow. I mean, he had the best offensive line in the country that year.
Tua had the best wide receiving core that 1 year. Like, I mean,
it's whatever.
It just depends. But I mean, surrounding cast does matter, and I feel like that's what Jaden Daniels and LSU have right now. They have a surrounding cast to make that team better. And they have the head coach who's going to push them to be better as well.
Yes, I completely agree. And I just think they have some slight edges in some big spots that can – I'm not saying it's definitely going to. I think that's going to just a little bit. The biggest thing for Alabama, why I don't have Alabama beating LSU is just the biggest reason why I think they can is because of Nick freaking Saban. I'm sorry. I mean, if he's coaching, you have a chance.
Yeah, you have a chance. If Nicky Boy's on the sidelines, he's playing.
You know, he's one of those guys. He's like
playing to win.
You can hate, and I can hate Alabama as much as I can, but it's like it becomes undeniable. It's like the Tom Brady's. It's like the LeBron Jameses. It's like the John Joneses in the UFC. Michael Jordan
back in the day. Anybody's anybody.
You got undeniable. You can't deny the greatness anymore. You can hate as long as you want, but there comes a point where the greatness, Bill Belichick, you know, it comes to a point where you're hating just to hate. You know, if you can't respect what the guy's done, then you're hating. You're just hating.
Yeah, if you can't accept what he's done for the game.
Yeah.
And the good that he's done for the game as well. Like you can say when you don't have to like the wins, you don't have to like all the national championships that he's won. But if you just respect what he's done for the game, then you will have you'll have a better understanding and a better love for the game as well. Yeah. I mean, that's how most people thought when, you know, Pete Carroll was here and SC was killing it. When Urban Meyer was at Florida and they were going to championships. I mean, there's multiple other coaches. Bear Bryant back in the day. There's multiple coaches that you can hate, but you have to respect the love. You have to respect and love everything they did for the game.
Yeah.
That's just it.
It's so
I mean, and I can understand that you don't have Alabama winning. I mean, in my opinion, LSU has a quarterback. Alabama doesn't know who they're going to have.
Yeah. And it's one of those, it's so tough. It's so tough. It's like, we're going to get to our championship.
Talk about it all day, honestly.
I mean, we're going to get to our championship games, and you'll see what I got going there. But at number 3 for me, this one's tough because I think we're going to see a Pac-12, undefeated Pac-12 team this year. I think one team's just going to outshine the rest, and I think due to talent on the other side of the ball, it comes down to 2 teams. And you could throw 3 teams in there because of a coach. So I think the 3 teams in the Pac-12 with a legitimate defense, not saying even championship, just a legitimate defense, not unlike USC. You got to throw Oregon, you got to throw Utah, and then you got to throw Washington. And that is who I have in there. I've got the Washington Huskies. And
that's a sleeper team. That's a sleeper team to watch out for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, they have I know we've been talking, and I know I've been mentioning about surrounding cast. Washington has a quarterback in Michael Penix Jr., but they also have two of the best wide receivers in college football this year.
Very, very true. I'm so glad you brought that up. The talent on offense is ridiculous, and then, I mean, they casually pump out cornerbacks every single season.
Dude, they're cornerback like Trent McDuffie coming out last year, bro.
It's like they just casually have these guys just stashed away on the cornerback list, and they just come in and ball, you know?
They put some crazy defensive players out. Like, I mean, Villa was from Washington. Nobody thought he was going to be good until he got drafted by Tampa Bay, and he's one of the best defensive linemen in the league right now.
Yeah, I mean, Washington Huskies defensive players in the NFL. Let's see who pops up.
Yeah, Trent McDuffie. I know you can name Trent McDuffie and Villa Veda.
Buda Baker.
Buda Baker went to Washington.
I forgot about that.
Did not know that. See Buda Baker right there.
Danny Sheldon, he's a good lineman.
He's a good one.
Taylor Rapp, another good corner. Marcus Peters. Desmond Trufant, he was a dog back in the day.
Oh my God, dude! Talk about a name I have not heard in forever.
That's for real. Kyle Gold.
Man, I haven't heard that since the Falcons.
I know, right? That's wild. But I mean, this team it's this year for me.
It's a sneaky team that puts out players that has a legit chance to contend this year. I mean, they have NFL talent on that team. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. After this year, Washington is probably going to take a fall off.
Yeah.
Washington is probably going to take a fall off next season. But this season right now, it's all or nothing.
Damn, they did.
And I'm not even saying go and try and win a championship. Go and win the Pac-12.
Yeah. Because, I mean, it's going to be so difficult to win that in general. But like you said,
if you win the Pac-12, then you can look towards a national championship. But if you win the Pac-12, look again towards that playoff game. If you lose one game or go undefeated, look towards that playoff game, dude.
dang, they did lose their running back, though. I didn't realize that.
Who's their running back?
It was their backup last year. Is Richard. Oh, no. That's their guy now. His name it's Cameron Davis. I remember actually watching him play last year. So they lost him. He's a pretty good player. Richard Newton's going to be the guy now. Senior, though. So, I mean, this guy has played good ball. 2019, 500. Then he kind of lost his spot. But, I mean,
honestly, they've kind of had a good they've had a good recruiting class these past couple of years. I'm not I don't think it's top 15, top 10, but it's a good recruiting class for them.
God, the receivers are so good.
I think they had a quarterback come in who's a lefty and turned out to not be him.
Dang, This kicker's ridiculous, bro. Oh, never mind.
What's the kicker like?
Oh, my bad. That was extra points. I was about to say, this dude doesn't miss.
What were you looking at?
I was looking at extra points. Brother hasn't missed one. I was like, okay, never mind.
What's his extra point looking like?
58, 59. But he's 19 to 22 in field goals, so he's actually really good, too.
Hey, that's automatic, bro. What do you mean?
But
missed 3 last year? That's not bad.
It's pretty good. But like I said, I think Washington comes out on top in Pac-12 undefeated, and that's one of those undeniable moments. You can't leave them out then if they're undefeated and they beat USC, Oregon. I mean, their schedule is crazy. So if they can win those games, I think they got those games, and then they got Oregon, USC, Utah, Oregon State. If you win those games, win the Pac-12 championship, you're in the playoffs. So I got them at 3, undefeated season. And then
honestly, could you look? I hate to cut you off, but could you look at it like Pac-12 is probably one of the most competitive divisions this year?
I would say yes, because it's like all the teams are kind of neck and neck. Like all of them have
quarterbacks. Yes,
like
they
all
have
of them.
Quarterback.
All of them have elite quarterbacks, like you were saying. And I think the biggest difference, USC. The thing is, like Washington might have as good of an offense as USC, and I think their defense is better. So, I
think I agree with you on the Washington statement, just because they didn't lose their wide receiver. They didn't lose wide receivers.
Yes.
They didn't lose anybody on the outsides. They lost their running back, as you said. So that's going to be a little bit of a difference changer. But wide receivers, they have veterans out there who are going to know how to get separation and get into the end zone and make plays outside the numbers for sure.
Michael Penix Jr. 4,641 passing yards last year, bro.
I think he was top 5 in passing yards last year.
Oh yeah, definitely. 31 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. I mean, the dude is so good. So
good Lord, man. Only 8 interceptions.
Well, a lot of attempts.
That's the year that as I said, Sam Hartman, that's the year that he has to have.
Yeah, very similar. But for me, got Washington 3, and I'll move on to the Alabama Crimson Tide at 4. I think.
Gotcha.
And then I'll just go ahead and save Georgia at 5. I think, obviously, if LSU's at 2, they're beating Alabama and Georgia. And for me, it comes down to which of those teams loses by the lower margin.
Least amount.
Because I think Alabama's only loss will be LSU, and I think Georgia's loss will only be LSU. So
yeah, that's what I'm about to go off. That's what I'm going off of.
So for me, I think the Alabama game will be more competitive than the Georgia game. I think LSU got a little bit of a taste of Georgia last year, and I don't think Georgia is going to be as good as they were last year. So if that's a repeat for the SEC championship, oh my gosh! First of all, and then second of all, I just think that LSU will be more prepared for that game than they were this time.
Revenge! That's a revenge game.
You know they want that one back, so I think they'll beat Georgia.
No! I know what a revenge game is next year, baby. Best believe Tuscaloosa next year. That's a revenge game, and I promise you, I will be watching that game. That is the biggest revenge game next year. It's such a
massive game, bro. But like I said,
there's so many good games next year, bro. So many.
But I think Alabama gets a closer game. So I think they squeeze into that 4th spot. I think this team has an opportunity to maybe squeeze into the 4th spot, but it's going to be hard for me to see them jump over in Alabama or Georgia just because it's SEC. I think Penn State has an opportunity this year to really shock some people. And you probably noticed at this point that I ain't got Michigan. So
we are Penn State, baby.
Penn State, baby.
Hey, I think Michigan takes a fall off, as you said. I don't have them in mind. I think that, they have the best running back duo in college.
It's nasty.
But I need JJ to take a step up. And if he doesn't take that step up, then they're not going to really go that far. They have a New Year's Six game. They'll have a New Year's Six bowl game for sure.
Oh, yeah.
But they won't be a playoff contender. JJ, first off, is draft eligible next year to go to play in the NFL. If he doesn't have a good year next year, he could stay back for, sit back for his senior year.
I can see that.
But I can see it happening too. But he needs to have a year this year to make sure Michigan can go a third straight year to the playoffs. And it's not on JJ as well. It's on, it's on the coach.
Yes.
It's on Jim. Jim has to do good in this. Jim has to do good. He's suspended for 3 games, so we'll really see after those 3 games.
Yeah, did you see he came out today that he says that players should be paid? I was like, bro, you're just trying to cover your tracks, bro.
Get out of here, dude. Just shut up. Do you have like a 7th team or anything?
My sleeper squad, I forgot to say that. We have one sleeper squad, and it comes down to pretty much for us, this sleeper squad will come down to like one win can change their season. And I think that team is Florida State for me.
Gotcha.
If you beat LSU, you win the ACC, undefeated, you're making the playoffs. It's just like the Pac-12 for me. So I think if they can win that big game, week 1, it's going to be hard to beat that team. They're going to have some steam. They're going to be steamrolling after that win. So
it's after last year's game against y'all.
It was so good.
That set a fire. But if y'all can go in and beat them, and then week 2 they lose to the Southern Miss Golden Eagles, then that just crushes Florida State fans' dreams and hopes of anything.
Oh God, talk about an absolute roller coaster, man.
Dude, just of emotions, bro. Just straight depression. Just imagine you're primed to go to the playoff game. You're primed to go to the playoffs, and you lose to LSU week 1. Okay, expected. Okay, that can be expected to happen. Then you come home and you have to play freaking Southern Miss, and you lose. Oh man, heartbreaker. Absolute just steamroll of the season.
That'd be so fun. That'd be so funny, man.
But I like your top 6, and I like your sleeper team for sure. I can see that happening. I can honestly see Penn State probably going over Washington, but Penn State's got to win those 2 big games.
Yes.
Penn State's got to win those 2 games and can't beat themselves. Same thing for Washington. Mm-hmm. Only Washington, in my opinion, probably has a tougher schedule just because they have to go against like 3 big teams in their division that are already ranked. Penn State's got to go up against Ohio State and Michigan. 2 big teams, but Penn State beats themselves. Washington, they can just outright get beat. Like, Washington really doesn't beat themselves. If anything, from what I've seen last season, Washington put themselves in great position to win games.
Yep.
And they did.
Yep. So,
but that's a nice squad you got right there, bro.
Yes, sir. Well, what do you got with your top 6 and sleeper squad?
Okay. My 6 and my sleeper, okay? So I'm going to start with my sleeper, okay? I'm going to switch it up for you. At 7, I got Penn State, I think Penn State can do something good, has a new quarterback coming in. He's not going to be a player like Sean Clifford. Mm-hmm. He's built like Drew Aller is built like Josh Allen,
Plays
about
like
6'4", 6'5", 215, 220, got a cannon for an arm.
Let's see.
Penn State's got a squad around him.
Let's see. Drew Aller.
I think he's about 6'4", 6'5".
Let's see.
He's a big kid, dude. Like, he's a big kid.
He is 6. Oh my goodness, 6'5", 243. Wait, no, that was
good lord.
That was That was freshman year. Hang on.
Wait, what? That's a freshman?
Oh my god. No, okay, no,
that's a grown man. That's a grown man.
That is updated. All right, yes, sophomore.
6'4", 240?
243.
Oh, dude, that's disgusting.
That's a big guy.
God. Dude, that's a child.
Oh my gosh.
We're older than him, dude. He could kill us.
That's crazy, bro. That's so crazy.
Dear Lord. But I got Penn State at 7. Coming in at 6, I'm gonna take the USC Trojans at 6.
Okay.
Only reason I say that is I feel like they lose. I feel like they lose 2 games. I feel like they lose against Oregon. Oh no. I feel like I feel like they lose one against Utah, and then they lose one against Washington.
Okay. Okay.
So that's my 6 and 7 right now. I don't have any Pac-12 teams making the playoffs right now.
Okay.
I have to see a little bit more from the defensive side of the ball
That's
to really
respectful.
determine. Yeah.
When's the last time a Pac-12 team made it? Washington?
Huh?
Washington's the last team to make the playoffs, right? In the Pac-12?
Yeah, they lost to Bama.
That's the last team because Oregon hasn't made it since like the
Oregon
round.
made the national championship the first year the college football players was put in, and they lost to Ohio State. And then Washington made it when Jalen Hurts was a freshman.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. USC has not made it.
That's crazy, bro.
But so I got USC at 6. At 5, I have the Texas Longhorns. Hook 'em, baby. Got Texas Longhorns. Steve Sarkisian. After last year, I feel like was a disappointing year. I feel like last year was not the year that you wanted to have, especially with the squad that you have coming in. You have Xavier Worthy. You have Robinson in the backfield. You have Ewers back at quarterback. I think what really turned that season around was losing to Bama week 2 after Quinn went down. If Quentin doesn't go down, then obviously I feel like they beat Bama. But since he went down, I feel like that kind of turned momentum for him. Plus TCU kind of woke up. But I feel like this year could be a flip around. This year they have the squad to do it. I feel like they have an underrated defense coming into this season. Probably, I think they have the best defense in the Big 12 so far. Just because of the pieces they brought around.
Fair.
I mean, one thing that really woke me up was like the Red River rivalries. Like they cleared Oklahoma 56-0, 59-0. It was a shutout. I mean, if Quentin and plus after this year they move into the SEC, so it's going to be a little different. But right now, Texas is in prime position to, if they get to week 2 and they go to Tuscaloosa and they beat Bama, they have a prime position to go win their division and to make a playoff appearance again. They haven't won their division since 2009. I said that last week. I'll say it again. You have not won your division since 2009, and it was the last time you made a championship game. And guess who you lost to? You lost to Alabama.
Sheesh.
You play Alabama week 2. I'm not going to say that they're going to do it, but if there's any time to make an appearance and to make a statement, it's to beat Bama. If you beat Bama, I'm telling you, you're primed to be the talk of the town. Tennessee last year, when they beat Bama, they were number 1. Everybody was on their knees praising them like they were the top dog. Yep. Everybody forgot about Georgia for a complete week and was all over Tennessee. If Texas can do the same thing but continue to do what they're doing during that season, they are primed to go to the playoffs and possibly be number 1 by the end of the year.
Yeah.
But that's at number 5. Now we're getting into the number 4s, number 3s, number 2s, number 1s. Number 4, I have Florida State. Now, Florida State's only loss. Florida State's only Florida State's only loss is going to be against LSU. LSU is going to beat them week 1.
Okay.
It's not going to be by much, but they're going to beat them.
Okay.
But then Florida State's going to go on a run. Okay, week 2 you have Southern Miss. Wax. Sorry. Absolute just, bend you over, spank your bottom, send you home. Like it's going to be that. Then they have a couple more challenging games. They have Clemson. They have North Carolina. They have Duke. Duke is no slouch.
Duke's
Duke got a quarterback again.
Duke's not bad.
They have some challenges to overcome, but they're primed. They have the team around them, and they have, as we said before, they have a quarterback.
Yes.
A Heisman finalist quarterback to do something. So we'll see what happens. Week 1 is the biggest key. If they come out of Miami, or where is it, Orlando?
Orlando.
Yeah, if they come out of Orlando with a win against LSU, they could be in they're in a playoff position. but they have to go win that division. That division, Clemson's still around. I'm not going to say Clemson's going to disappear. I mean, that'd be disrespectful. Clemson is still around to make a run for a playoff, and those are the two teams. North Carolina's still there, but Florida State has the grit, has the team, has the quarterback, has the surrounding cast. Like, their wide receiver room, dude, is so dirty right now, and it's so underrated. They have a Michigan State wide receiver, Keon Coleman. Remember that name, because I promise you, he will be a Biletnikoff finalist next year.
Okay. All right.
Calling you that right now. But Keon Coleman, Biletnikoff finalist next year. But that's Florida State for me. I got Florida State at 3. I got the LSU Tigers, the boys in purple and gold.
There you go.
Can't disrespect them. I have a soft spot for them. I've lived with you. You're my best friend. I got to have a soft spot for my boys in purple and gold.
I get that.
But the only loss that they're going to have is against Bama.
Yeah,
it's in Tuscaloosa this year.
Fair.
LSU has the best quarterback in the SEC right now. That's one thing that they have going for them, is that they have the best quarterback, the most experienced quarterback. Yeah. I'll throw in Spencer Rattler,
it's experience. I think that's the best way.
Jalen Daniels has been me and you watched him at Arizona State, tearing up Oregon that one game. Had a couple other good games after that. He has the experience. He is one of the best quarterbacks in the country right now, and possibly a Heisman finalist.
Yeah.
But what LSU needs to do is really win the big games that y'all need to win. I don't really think y'all have any. I think the biggest concern is probably secondary problems, as me and Nolan talked about. I think secondary is probably the biggest problem. But everything else y'all have in place to be good. Mm-hmm. Only team, y'all have to play. You have to play Florida this year. You have to play Bama. Have to play Tennessee. If y'all lose to Bama, that's not a bad loss. If it's by 3 or 4 points, that's not bad. Y'all just need to win out the rest. And who knows? SEC championship appearance could happen. Y'all could turn around and beat Bama. LSU could be number 1 by the end of the next season, for sure.
They could be.
They have everything, and they have the coach. The coach is the biggest part. They have the coach to do so. Brian Kelly has been there. He has done that. He had a little taste last year. He had a taste.
Exactly. That's the best
way to put it. Now that you've had a taste, you're going to want more. You want the whole plate. You want the drink to come with it. So, why not go for it, man? And I feel like LSU has a legit chance to do that. But at number 2, I'm going to take the Ohio State Buckeyes. Ohio State, another team who has depth and talent around it. Only thing they're missing is a quarterback right now. They have a quarterback competition going on.
Yep.
Kyle McCord, in my opinion, is going to be the starter. Mm-hmm. And, I think the biggest piece for Ohio State right now to make a legit chance, I think it's Marvin Harrison. I think it's Marvin Harrison Jr. I think that's the biggest key to that team, is to feed him the ball. Yes, you have Henderson. You have Henderson in the backfield. That's another good key. Coming back. He had a little injury. Prone last year. But if you can, recall those injuries, bring him back into the game, get him back moving and grooving, then they can still make a legit shot. I like you having them at number 1, because I feel like they have an overall out of all these teams, they have the best overall team.
I think so.
You know what I mean? Like, they have the best overall team in general. And they have and the head coach comes into play. Ryan Day has been there, has been to the big games.
Yep.
Ever since he's been the head coach at Ohio State, he's been in the playoffs. He's made a national championship. Experience is there. Quarterback is the big question mark right now. But Ohio State, in my opinion, it can be the second best team coming into the next year. And at number 1, taking my boys, taking the big old Crimson Tide, Roll Tide. We'll take Alabama at number 1. And it's going to seem biased to most people, but if you really look at it, the surrounding cast that Alabama has, it's disgusting.
Yeah.
It's deadly. We returned yes, we lost Bryce Young. We lost Will Anderson. We lost a couple people to the draft last year. We lost Brian Branch. We lost Jordan Battle. We lost Henry To'oTo'o. We lost a lot of key players last year. Also, I don't think last year was our best team. I feel like last year college football is definitely picking up. Teams are starting to catch up to the system for sure. But I think next year that if we figure out what to do about quarterback, then we can make a chance to go win another national championship and compete again.
Yeah.
I think next year that we can be better than Georgia. I think LSU and Alabama are going to be better than Georgia next year. And that's just my honest opinion. But the team that we have now, I feel like we can do something good. I think that we have one of the best secondaries in the league with Kool-Aid at cornerback number 1, have Caleb Downs, the true freshman, coming in at safety. Let's see. We have we hit in the transfer portal too. We have a transfer linebacker from Georgia coming in.
Mm-hmm.
We have the best linebacker in college and JUCO. Actually, my bad. Best linebacker in JUCO, Justin Jefferson. That's a name to remember. I know, right? Came from the good old school of PRCC, Pearl River Community College. Got to represent the boys down here. Yes. So he's making a move over there. But we also on offense. Offense is going to be a question mark just because of the quarterback situation. We have 2 new coordinators in offense and defense. So, if we figure things out after week 2, and if we beat Texas, I think we're primed to go be a number 1 team contending for a national championship. And I'll be honest with you, I think the 2 teams that meet in next year's national championship, I think it's going to be the all-time classic. I think it's going to be what everybody has been waiting for to see. I think it's going to be Alabama versus LSU in next year's national championship. I think that's going to be it.
I'm right there with you, man. I'm going LSU.
It's going to be determined if Bama can figure it out at quarterback and if LSU can win those big games that they need to win.
Yes.
But those are my teams. My Penn State's my sleeper team. But that's the top 6 teams I have close to the end of the year, and obviously our teams will change over time. Next time we do a ranking like this, I'm pretty sure it'd probably be after maybe week 2 or week 3.
Yeah.
Rankings will come out. We'll both be talking about like, oh my gosh, dude, this team. Oh my gosh, dude, this sleeper team. That's the one thing about college football, dude. It is so exciting, and you just don't know who's gonna. It's up in the air at this point. Nobody knows. Everybody's picking the classics. They're going to pick Georgia. They're going to pick Bama. But nobody looks at these sleeper teams in some of these divisions.
Nope.
None of us mentioned a group of 5 team.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
Cincinnati's
the closest thing that could be, what, Tulane?
Tulane's good. Tulane's still, I like their coach a lot, but they lost Spears, and that's tough. But I'm with you, man. I think, like you said, after week 2, we'll come back and we'll have a lot more clarity. LSU, Florida State will have finished. Alabama versus Texas will have finished.
That'll be a big game to clear up as well.
There's going to be some big games where we're like, all right, that team won. That changes everything.
Yeah, there's going to be some games where we're less like, okay, that just happened.
Yep.
That really just like kind of just make college football turn over upside down.
Yeah.
Depending on the game. But that's the one thing about college football, dude. It's just the unexpected wins are the best wins.
Yeah, those are the biggest games, and that's what makes it so much fun. And if you're picking if you're not picking at least 1 or 2 underdogs a week, you're crazy. It's college football. Someone's going to pull something off.
Like the underdogs are the best teams to go for, man. You cannot – if there's an underdog team that you have hype around or that they're hyping up, I'm going to take them.
Yep.
I feel like it could be one of the best games of the year.
Yes. I think that
take the Appalachian State and Texas A&M game last year, dude. That was a game.
Yes.
That was fun.
Or
Tulane and USC, that's the best example.
That's the best one.
That's the best example. Tulane and USC, and Tulane comes out on top. That's insane.
That's the best example for a 12-team playoff, but that's for another day.
Exactly.
All right, bro. I think we're in agreement to the championship game. For the teams, how they get there, different. But I think we both agree LSU and Bama are going to the championship. A little bit of homer feels like, but we're also – it's reality, man.
If that's the game, dude, I just don't.
We're not talking.
Oh my gosh,
we're not talking.
Oh, dude, we couldn't talk. We couldn't talk.
We'll have to do a very tense podcast for that one, but
oh my god, I don't. Oh man, Nathan, who?
just no contact for 2 weeks.
I don't know, dude. Like, if that's the podcast and we have to talk about that, I guess either one of us is going to have to bite the bullet. One of us is going to have to bite the bullet and just talk about it.
Yeah, no, we'll see. We'll see. Obviously, like we said, we'll make some mid-season predictions as the season goes on, but let's keep this thing rolling to our Heismans. We won't stay too long on this. Let's lay out some candidates, maybe one kind of wild card, and then give our winner. I'll start this one off. I'll give you my 4 candidates, and then a little bit of a wild card, and then I'll give you my winner. I'm gonna have my 4 candidates are. I think it's crazy if you don't include this guy, even though I don't have them in my top even 7. Even that's pretty wild to even say that he could be in this, but I think his talent. It's just, I believe the best player should be in the Heisman race. So there's 2 guys in here that are the best players, and they are going to be in the Heisman race, in my opinion. So Caleb Williams, obvious one, could go back-to-back easily.
Runner-up, could have a back-to-back year, depending on the season.
Yep. For me, Jaden Daniels at 2 here. We got another guy. We got another guy here that has an opportunity. Just if it's all up to how good he plays this season. For my 3rd guy, I have Marvin Harrison Jr., the receiver from Ohio State.
Hey, I've already told everybody this, and I'm going to say it right here. He's going to be better than his dad. He's going to be so much better than his dad.
He's so good, man. He's
already good. Like, he's already good in college. Like, just imagine the game. Just imagine the step he's going to take in the NFL, bro. Imagine if he gets drafted by the team that his dad played for, the Colts. Imagine Anthony Richardson and Marvin Harrison Jr. Disgusting.
Maybe. But, yeah, I got him in at least making it to New York, and then I got Michael Penix Jr. Have to kind of put those 2 together. If they're making the playoffs, he's got to be a Heisman candidate, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And then a little bit of a wild card here. I'm holding strong on this guy. I'm not even saying he's going to make New York, but I think he has an opportunity if he wins those big games. It's a term we've thrown around a lot in this pod, but Drew Aller, he's so good. He's so talented. I looked it up. He's actually bigger than Josh Allen, technically. So, yeah. That dude's a tank.
Dude, Josh Allen's big, bro. How big can you get? Like, after that, it's just like, do you need to gain the weight? Like, yeah. I mean, you're looking like Big Ben at this point.
Homie might need to lean up, but for me,
you're looking like Big Ben right now.
Look at, oh man, but yeah, it's those are my team. Those are my players for the Heisman. I like them a lot, and then for my winner, I'm going Marvin Harrison Jr., baby.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. As you should.
It's a quarterback award, but I just got a feeling, man, if Ohio State's, like I said, the number 1 seed, I don't think it's going to be McCord. I think it's going to be Marvin Harrison Jr. coming out here putting up 2,000 yards receiving, baby.
Dude, that's exactly what I said. I was driving on my way home, and I was like, I know the Heisman is a quarterback award, but if there's one person that could come in and steal that award, it's Marvin Harrison Jr. Yep. So that takes me to this. So my 4 Heisman contenders. Caleb Williams at 1, has a chance to repeat and go back-to-back. I've never seen it happen. You've never seen it happen. It'd be cool to see it happen.
It would be very cool.
Number 2, I know I don't have him in my top 6 or 7, but at the end of the year, it could happen. Michael Penix Jr., as you said. I mean, I've always loved him. I've always liked him. I think transferring from Indiana, once again, the best decision that he made, getting surrounded by some talent.
Yes.
Also takes him out of such a competitive conference and puts him in now another more competitive conference. But look at the weapons that he has now compared to what he had over at Indiana. He has more opportunities to compete now.
Yep.
So Michael Penix at 2. MHJ at 3, Marvin Harrison Jr. Going to take him right there. As you said, 2,000 yards is the goal. I can see him having a total Devontae Smith year, like how Smitty had his Heisman campaign. I feel like he can have the same way. It depends on quarterback play mostly. If Kyle McCord or whoever's throwing the ball to him, if they can make it right for him, then he has a total chance. At number 4, I'm going to have Travis Hunter.
Oh, whoa.
So a lot of people. Travis Hunter right there, Florida State quarterback,
No, that's not his name, is it? Glimpses. That's not his name, right? It's Travis, Jordan Travis. Jordan Travis.
Jordan Travis. Jordan Travis.
Yeah, Travis Hunter's the kid from dang Colorado.
Wow, that's hilarious. Well, yeah, it is. Yeah, Jordan Travis. Okay, so Jordan Travis.
Yes.
That's who I have. Florida State quarterback. That's who I have coming in. He had some glimpses last year. He had some glimpses of having that potential to be to be that top-ranked guy at the end of the year of college football. It's just if you take some of those plays out, if you take some of the bad plays out, then he looks 10 times better than Caleb Williams could have, or better than Bo Nix could have. But I have Jordan. I have Travis right there, or Jordan. My bad. And then at number 5, it was a flip between Jalen Daniels and Bo Nix. Okay. It was a flip for sure. But I haven't even we have not talked about Oregon this entire time. LSU, on the other hand, has the quarterback. So my sneaky dark horse is Jalen Daniels.
That's kind of crazy. Like, we think he's a dark horse, but for somehow, some way, he's technically number 2 in odds.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Caleb at 1, Jaden at 2, Quinn at 3, Michael Penix at 4, Cade Klubnik at 5.
That's the funny fact is that neither one of us mentioned Quinn yours.
Quinn or dang, I mean, you brought up Jordan Travis, so I mean it's tough, man. It's tough.
But my winner is going to be the same one you said. I have Marvin Harrison Jr. winning the Heisman. I feel like he has the better odds to do it. But all of these quarterbacks have something to prove, not because to win the Heisman, they're all playing for a job. Like, Marvin Harrison's playing for a job, but Marvin Harrison, in my opinion, has the easier way to get a job in the NFL.
He's a lot.
All these guys right here, from Caleb to Jalen, they have to play. This is the resume. This year's the resume. This is what you have to put on there to get that draft stock up and to get a job in the NFL. But Marvin Harrison, in my opinion, I feel like he's going to have probably one of the most monstrous wide receiver seasons I've ever seen. And I thought Devontae Smith's season was good. I feel like this dude's going to be 10 times better than any wide receiver I've seen play college football. And it has nothing to do with the name. It has nothing to do with the name at all.
It has
to do with what you see on the field.
Yep.
And what you see on the field is it's like poetry, dude. It's like art.
We need him. We need to put some money down on him, man.
Knows what to do.
We need to put some money down on him. He's got 2,000 to 1 odds to win it, which is wild, but it's
dude, I'll
like
put
we said.
$100 on him.
That's what I'm saying.
I'll put $100.
We're making 2,000.
Well, see, all these people keep telling me to bet, and I was like, if I'm betting on one thing, it's college football. Yep. I'm not betting on anything else.
Yeah, I'll bet on the Heisman. I'll bet on the Heisman, and I'll bet on the.
I'll bet on national championship odds.
Yeah, exactly. Now,
but Marvin Harrison Jr. is the guy that I think can win it all next year.
I love it. We're in agreement on that one. I want to see it. It's going to be kind of hard to believe if it actually happens, but if we're going off the best player in college football, he is the best player, in my opinion, in college football. The only guy you could even make a debate about besides him is Caleb Williams. So
Caleb Williams is about it, but everybody else has a legit shot.
Yep.
Everybody else has a legit shot, but if you're looking at the 2 people that you think and know that can win it, it's those 2 guys.
Yep.
Who knows? If Arizona plays out like everybody thinks they are and gets the number 1 and number 2 pick, you could see Marvin Harrison Jr. and Caleb Williams on the same team next year.
Yeah, did you see who they're starting week 1, bruh?
Not Colt McCoy.
It's not Colt McCoy. I think this is Josh Dobbs or a rookie or something.
Dude.
Clayton Tune from Houston.
See, okay, so I would love to see Tune. I know the word of clearing house. I think Arizona's taking that too close to heart, dude. Oh my God.
That Philly coach said, "Oh God, this team's terrible. Let's just break this."
Dude, I bet he looked at everything. Like, he looked at that stuff on paper and he was just like, this is mid. This is straight mid.
I can't even imagine, bro.
After losing D-Hop, you didn't really have much.
No, that's the truth. But that'll do it for us for our Heisman Talks. We have laid out our groundwork there. Like we said with the predictions and the rankings, we'll probably do a mid-season Heisman update as well. Let's get to some games, bro. Let's close this thing out with some game picks.
This is what I've been expecting, dude. This is the fun stuff.
This is fun. We'll have a good time with this, go through this kind of fun and quick, and lay out some who we think is going to win these games and maybe a quick little score prediction.
Descriptions on everything.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to start Thursday night. We got a massive rematch from last year. It was an amazing game.
This is the third time they played, right?
Yeah, I think so. And this was last year. It was a really fun game. It was an upset. Definitely for me. I did not think Utah would lose this game, but
I didn't think Utah was going to lose that game last year. Anthony Richardson decided to be magical, though.
Exactly. Utah versus Florida was a magical game last year. It was fun. Richardson, he got himself some hype real quick in the season. Then kind of
screwed off,
Yeah.
I mean, who doesn't like a quarterback that throws 54%? Like, who doesn't want that, right?
Who loves that?
Who doesn't want someone that throws 54% and throws a pick like once or twice a game? Like, I mean, but that's besides the point.
Besides the point.
They got Graham Mertz. Hey, they got Graham Mertz now, dude. That's an upgrade, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Definition of mid.
Mid. All right. Odds on this one are Utah is a 6.5-point favorite. Over under is 45.5. So it looks like they are expecting a defensive battle between these two squads.
I don't see that. I don't.
You don't see that?
I think I see. I told Nolan this today. I'll take the under.
Yeah.
I'll take the under, but I don't feel like it's going to be a defensive battle in the second half.
Okay.
First half, it's going to be figuring everything out, figuring out the defense and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Florida's going to struggle on offense for sure. Mm-hmm. I feel like they're going to struggle. But that second half, Utah's going to come out and light it on fire.
Yeah. I'm with you on that one. I think it's going to be kind of messy for both teams early on, but I think experience will set in for Utah pretty earlier than Florida, and I think Florida's one of those teams where I just don't think they're going to put it together quickly this season. I think it's going to be
this Florida team is a whole different squad.
Yeah, I think it's going to be one of those things for me where it's like, maybe they figure it out against Kentucky week 5. They kind of maybe just put a game together.
I feel like they would, but I mean Kentucky has a quarterback as well.
Yeah, a kid from North Carolina State. So it's like it's one of those things. Though, I just don't think they're going to put it together week 1. I think they're going to be a little shaky. I think they're going to want this one back, and Utah knows you win this game. You keep winning games, you're putting yourself in an opportunity to break into the playoffs.
Championship and then possible playoff contention.
Exactly. You are putting yourselves in an opportunity.
Pac-12 is a competitive division this year.
Very competitive. So for me,
everybody's gonna be fighting for that playoff spot in that division.
Yes, exactly. They're all going to be fighting for that one spot that's available if you go undefeated. So for me, I think Utah has got something to play for here. I think they're going to be a little bit more aggressive early on. I think the skills is going to be a little outmatched. I think the offense and defense for Utah is just going to be just a little bit better, man. And I think maybe not even talent. I think the coaching is just going to be better. Not to say Nate, I like Billy. Not saying I don't like.
I like Billy as well. I feel like Billy can turn it around. Yeah. But right now, I feel like Utah has an upper hand on their side of the ball with coaching and players as well. Do you have a score prediction for that game?
Yeah, for me, I'm going 31 to. Let's go 31. No, actually, let's do 27-17 Utah.
Okay. I got 41-21 Utah.
Okay, so you got them smacking them in that second half.
I told you that second half, they're going to come out on fire.
I think Florida's offense is just going to struggle, like you said. I don't know if they put together.
I think Graham Mertz may struggle.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. I think it may struggle a little bit. He didn't look good at Wisconsin.
No.
Like
that's definitely
his
offense.
Freshman year he looked good. His freshman year he balled out. That last 2 years has just been absolutely dog crap.
Dog water.
Dog water.
But yeah, that'll be our game picks for that one. Let's move on.
We both picked Utah to win that game?
Yes, we did. And then we both got them covering with that win. Let's go to TCU, Colorado. This is a fun game. Obviously, odds are very against Colorado. They are 21-point underdogs in this game.
I don't know how, though. Like,
it's a big
TCU lost so much.
My bad. It's a 20.5 now. My bad. And it's
but TCU still lost so much last year.
They did. And
they did hit in the transfer portal. That is one team that did hit in the transfer portal.
Mm-hmm.
But so did Colorado. Like, Colorado hit in the transfer portal just because of their head coach.
They won the transfer portal.
They got prime time as head coach. Who doesn't want to go play for prime time?
That's a real good question. But this over-under is 64. It's just 64 on the dot. So they have this one high scoring. TCU's got that track record over the past few years to be one of those explosive offenses. For me, it's going to be offense more than defense on both sides. But I don't think TCU's offense is going to come out here and just walk away with this one.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to come in and be a cakewalk. I think Colorado, this is Colorado's first year under Deion Sanders. So there's going to be some scrapes and some bumps, especially on both sides of the ball for sure. But if they can piece it all together game by game, then that team has potential to be good. I'm thinking maybe a 7-5 record at the end of the year. If they can get this win under their belt, and Deion Sanders' first win at Colorado is against a national championship contending team from last season, that's going to look good on the resume for sure.
Yep. So is that CDM picking Colorado?
Oh yeah, dude, I'm picking Colorado for sure. Yeah. Yeah, 31-28.
31-28. I love it.
31-28. Shedeur Sanders goes for at least 200 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions.
Okay.
Those at least 65%.
Okay. I like it.
31-28. I feel like that's reasonable. I feel like that's a reasonable score.
Hey, if they're going to win, I like the score prediction there. Personally, I think TCU wins, but I think Colorado comes
Understandable.
I think Colorado shows up and puts some teams on notice. I think they come out and show a lot of grit, a lot of improvement. This team was terrible last decade.
This team was, as we said, dog water.
So bad,
Absolute dog water last season.
They were so bad. They've been so bad. It's so hard to turn around a program that fast. And if there's
Jerry Rice's kid played for that team his freshman year, and then he transferred to SC.
Yeah, and it's just one of those things for me. If it takes long to improve a program like that. If there's one guy that could improve it in one offseason, it would be Deion, it feels like. But I think they come out, play with a lot of grit, prove that they have a squad now that can compete with legitimate teams. Yeah. I think they cover. I don't think they win. I'm going to go 38 for TCU, 23 Colorado.
Okay, I like that. I like that one.
I think they show some grit, show some fight. I think the offense looks pretty good, but I just don't know if that defense is going to be ready.
I can say the same thing for TCU's defense, dude. I don't know if TCU's ready. The only thing I know, Sony Mitchell can do good.
Yeah,
Sony Mitchell as a head coach, he's been to the highest stage so far, so he knows what it takes to get there.
Yeah,
and that's one thing that favors him right now is like he's been to that highest stage.
Yep, and he's a hell of a coach. He learned from a great guy before him.
Dude, I love Sony. I love Sonny. Sonny is such a good coach for that team. Mm-hmm. Like last year, if they would have came in and just at least competed against Georgia, it'd have been a fun game.
I wish it would have made it at least fun. But that's our predictions. All right. You got yours, 31-28. I got 38-23. Let's go to the next game. This one, odds are a little odd for me on this one. I was a little shocked how close the line was. We got Tulane versus South Alabama. The Tulane is only a 6.5-point favorite, so touchdown game. I think it's honestly real disrespectful. And then 52 over under. CDM, what you thinking on this one?
Listen, after last year, man, how surprising Tulane was to everybody, and then they go into the Cotton Bowl and beat Caleb Williams and USC. Like, I'm taking Tulane, and I'm not taking about 6 points. I'm going to take them by at least double digits.
Yep.
No disrespect to South Alabama, But Tulane's been there before. Tulane's been to a higher stage than most teams in their conference are used to. The teams in their conference are used to making subpar bowl games,
Yep.
but not a New Year's Six bowl game. Tulane did that against good competition, and I'm talking about grit, dude. At the end of the game, that final drive from Tulane was probably the most beautiful thing, like most beautiful drive I've seen out of everything last year. It's so gorgeous. And for them to go in and beat a Power 5 team, why are they only a 6-point difference against South Alabama?
Doesn't make sense.
Nah. I'm taking Tulane, and I'm gonna give them, let's see, a decent score against South Alabama. Are they in the same division as Tulane?
Tulane is American. South is Sun Belt, like Southern Miss.
Oh, dude, no. Tulane by like 3. I'm gonna take them. I'm gonna take a shutout right here. I'm taking 35-0.
Oh, wow! I love it.
A shutout.
I love it. Disrespect.
You gotta have a shutout. You gotta have a shutout once a week. You gotta have a shutout at least once. And I think Tulane's gonna be that team to do it.
I like it. South did play really good late last season. So I've watched them a lot. Sun Belt with Southern Miss. I got to cover Southern Miss last year.
Well, Tulane only lost 2 games last year.
No, I'm just saying though. South is just trying to at least give them a little respect before I absolutely crap on them here. But at the end of the day, it's like, dude, I know Tulane lost some big players and Tyjae Spears and some talent and some important spots, but come on, man. It's like 6.5 is crazy, bro.
6.5 is a little disrespectful for Tulane.
Yeah, I mean, the games that only 2 games they lost were
Southern Miss.
Southern. That's crazy. Southern
That's crazy.
And UCF, and they should have won the UCF game. So it's like
they really lost that game.
Yeah, I remember them losing that game.
Was that the one-handed snag in the end zone?
I can't remember.
No, that was another game. That was another game.
But it was a hell of a game. But it's one of those things where Tulane, if they were going to go undefeated, it was last year. I'm not saying they're going to be as good as last year, but it's at home. You know, I just don't see South pulling off the upset here. I think
at home, and they're still a 6-point favorite.
I mean, USPNU. I'm gonna be watching this one.
I'm gonna keep a close eye on that game.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of crazy. So, but for me, score prediction wise, I'm gonna go 34 to 20. I was gonna say 17, but I'm gonna go 34-20.
I thought you were gonna say at least 21. I was like, that's not bad. I mean, that's a 2-possession game.
I got 2 possessions, man.
Tulane. So here, answer me this question, and we'll move on. If Tulane goes undefeated, beats their opponents by a big margin, do they have any big teams on their schedule this year, like any Power 5 teams?
Yes, they do, Carson. I'm so glad you brought that up because they have one massive game, week 2, against Ole Miss.
They almost beat Ole Miss.
That's their biggest game of the season. They play Southern again.
Hold up. Okay, so I'm off that day from work. Okay,
it's at
Ole Miss, right?
Nope, at Tulane.
Oh my God,
that's even better. That's even better drive. New Orleans,
dude,
bro.
I would legit go to Tulane and watch that game. That sounds like a fun game to go and watch.
Oh my gosh, yes, bro. You know the Ole Miss fans are going to show up.
So, but now answer me this question: if Tulane goes undefeated, beats Ole Miss, and wins the division, do you give them that 4th ranked spot?
They would have to have some help. They would have to have Alabama or LSU have 2 losses. They would have to. They couldn't be a double up in conferences. There would have to only be one SEC team, one Big Ten team, and you would honestly want the Pac-12 to not be available to make it.
No. Cincinnati did it. And Georgia and Bama were both in that playoff run.
I guess so. So yeah, if there's one conference that could double up, it would have to only be SEC. And you can't have Pac-12 have any chance making it. Big 12 can't be in it.
Every team in the Pac-12 would have to be a 2-loss team.
And ACC. So you would have to have a lot of help for Tulane to make it. But, I mean, it's not impossible. The biggest thing they got going for them is they proved that they can beat those big teams last year when beating USC. You're not supposed to look at the past like that. Past season's a different team, different squad.
If you look at it to give yourself a bigger move into the season, then that's another reason to look back at it. And that, if that's what we're getting at your point, I mean, you look back at that win, you're just like, okay, we can do this. We can compete with the best of the best.
Yeah, and it's more for the rank. It's more for the committee saying, okay, yeah, we're not supposed to look at this, but they proved they can win those games. They proved they can beat the best teams in the conference, in the country. So, and I don't think they'll look at it, but I think quietly, if they were undefeated in this situation, I think they'd be like, they proved it last year. They proved us wrong last year. Let's not get this wrong. So, but that's a big what if. But yep, I'm going Tulane in this one. You're going Tulane in this one. Let's go to this next one. This next one is a tough pick for me.
Is it North Carolina and South Carolina?
North Carolina, South Carolina game.
That's a game, dude. That also has game of the year written all over.
That's true. This game is tough to pick, bro.
Battle of the Carolinas.
North Carolina is a 2.5-point favorite in this game, so a field goal game. They got this one, and then 64.5. We got offense everywhere, baby.
Good Lord, dude. Offensive powerhouses this week.
The biggest thing for me, and it's hard to fully gauge off of last season, just like I just said, don't want to contradict myself, but South Carolina was elevating late last year, even though they lost their last game against Notre Dame, while North Carolina was decelerating. Yes, they were declining late last year. So it's like one of those things I got to gauge, and I know this quarterback battle is ridiculous. I love the quarterback battle in this game, Spencer Rattler versus Drake May.
I mean, it's two experienced quarterbacks going toe-to-toe, and finally, it's both of these teams have a legit chance to make this a good game.
Yep.
Because, I mean, when Sam Howell was there at North Carolina and they played South Carolina didn't have a quarterback. Like, they had – who they had? They had some dude by the name of Heineke last year. Not even Heineke. I can't remember his name. I
forgot his name too.
He transferred to Northwestern.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name. And then now they have Spencer Rattler, a dude who knows how to play ball. He may not be the most polished quarterback, but he knows how to play ball good. And Drake May, probably the second best quarterback in this year's class coming in, but he has lost a lot of weapons. I don't know any of the weapons for South Carolina. I'll be completely honest with you. All I know is that they have a solid defense.
They got a hell of a tight end too.
But North Carolina losing Josh Downs this year, that was their wide receiver one. Drake May is going to have to make some things work. North Carolina is going to have to make that offense revolve around him. One thing I like about North Carolina is that they also have a really good run game. They always have a solid running back one to just get like a 20-yard carry, bulldoze over, and just get into the end zone. But South Carolina, in my opinion, I don't want to say Spencer's the most polished, but he has been to big stages before. He has been to a Big 12 championship. He's been to a college football playoff. He's beat Oklahoma. He's beat Texas in their rivalry in the Big 12. Spencer Rattler can be a good quarterback. He just needs to clean up the mistakes he makes. And it's like boneheaded mistakes. It's like forcing the ball into triple coverage or, holding the ball for too long or running it when you don't need to run it and taking unneeded sacks that put your team in terrible situations.
Yep.
And that's I can say the same thing about Drake May. Drake May is a young quarterback, but he also has the mindset. His mind, I feel like his development throughout plays is insane. Like he has the mind and the ability to get the ball out and know where to put the ball. But he needs to clean up his turnovers as well. He had a little bit of he had a turnover problem close to the end of the season last year, and that's one of the reasons they kind of fell off last year. Spencer Rattler cleaned his up. Spencer Rattler had that game against Tennessee that I kind of just made everybody remember, like, hey, Spencer Rattler can still play ball.
Yeah.
Yeah. But for this game, I'm going to take the SEC. I'm going to take South Carolina, but it's going to be a 3-point game. I'm going to keep this a short one. And I'm going to take the under, and I'm going to say it's going to be a 17-14 game.
Oh, defense, huh? You think North Carolina has a defense? Okay.
No, I mean, South Carolina has a better defense.
Yeah.
But if North Carolina's defense can work it out, then they're going to be they're one of the favorites in the ACC besides Florida State and Clemson. Yeah. The top three in the ACC are North Carolina, Clemson, and Florida State. That's in no order either.
Yeah.
Like, that's just pure facts. Those are the top 3 teams. The only 2 teams that have a defense are Clemson and Florida State. But Clemson, ultimately, in my opinion, has the best defense in the ACC still.
Yes. I'm with you with your pick. I think my biggest thing.
Oh, you're picking South Cal too?
I'm picking South Carolina. I'm picking them. I thought
you were going to go with North Carolina. I'm not going to lie to you.
My biggest thing is it's hard not to pick North Carolina, first of all, but
it's very hard.
My biggest thing that I want to see in the development of Spencer Rattler is, and I know it's a super small sample size from what we saw this weekend, but I want to see what I saw when it comes to the improvements we saw from Caleb Williams. The not tucking it, running too quickly, the not running around and taking a sack, not throwing it into triple coverage when you think a guy's open, just someone's down there, even though he kind of did that this weekend, but it worked out.
Don't throw up helmet. Yeah, don't throw up a prayer ball, dude. Like, really, really read the defense and look at it. I know what you mean by that.
And like his comparison has been unfair his entire career. It's been Patrick Mahomes' his entire career, and that is the most unfair comparison you could put on a person. It's like Caleb, he lives up to it to a certain degree, but Caleb is not Patty. Caleb has that it factor that Patty has, but he doesn't play like Patty. The closest player that plays like him would be a Spencer Rattler, because
as you said, Spencer Rattler's been compared to him ever since high school.
Yes.
He has been compared to the plays he makes, like Patrick Mahomes makes.
Yes.
You can't live up that's a high standard to live up to.
It's almost impossible.
Don't live up to that standard. Mm-mm. Don't live up to the other standard that people give you. Play to the standard that you can play at.
Yep.
And just go above and beyond the standard you set for yourself. And that's what Spencer Rattler needs to figure out.
Yep.
Like, hey, I'm not Patrick Mahomes. I'm not Joe Montana. I'm not, Anthony Richardson. I'm Spencer Rattler.
Yep.
I play ball like how I want to play ball. And he's good, dude. He has potential to be so good. It's just, can he minimize those mistakes?
Yes.
And bring forward that progress to be that player that he was like hyped up to be. Don't be Patrick Mahomes. Be yourself and do what you can.
Yep. You hit it on the nail for me, man. It's minimizing the mistakes, minimizing the risks, even though those risks are the plays where Spencer is Spencer. You don't want to hold him back too much. You don't want to have too short of a leash. You want him to still make those big plays, those plays that make everyone go, oh my God, this guy's ridiculous. But you have to, it's like Patty. It's kill them with the short game, kill them with the short game, kill them with the short game. Boom.
Yeah.
Wide open shot.
Let the receivers do the, dump the ball off, run out, get the yak, dude. Run after catch, get that. And then when they least expect it, kill them over the top.
Yes.
Drop a bomb in the basket.
Yep.
Or just hit them with a run game, dude. Mm. South Carolina has not had a bad run game these past few seasons, honestly.
And that's the thing.
Bulldozers at running back.
Yeah, and that's the thing is for him, when it comes to the comparison to Patty, I think he's a better athlete than Patty. He's got a little bit more juice in the legs than Patty, in my opinion. My opinion, Patty had
to stop doing that, though.
Yeah, definitely. Patty's his best ability when it comes to his athleticism is in the pocket, maneuvering the pocket, getting out of the pocket.
Extending plays.
But when he's not extending the play, he's not running options, though. You can run an option with Spencer Rattler and stuff, even though I don't think they should. He's fast enough to do that. So for me, I think he's a better athlete when it comes to that regard. So in my opinion, just let Spencer be Spencer, but don't do just to hold back on the mistakes, Spencer, and you could.
I don't like their head coach.
Be a legitimate
their head coach has seen it all.
Yeah,
like their head coach has played against Alabama.
The mayonnaise man.
Dude, that's so nasty, dude. I'm sorry. That's some disgusting stuff.
Carson,
dude.
I bet you're envying that.
If you poured mayonnaise on me, it's on site.
It's on site.
It's on site, dude. I'm putting pads on myself and running you over. But I think we both agree, South Carolina brings it home. What's your score prediction on that one? Yeah, I got 17-14.
This one's tough for me. I do think it's going to be a bit of more of a higher scoring game. It cannot be a shootout because if South Carolina tries to shoot out with this team, they will not win. So I think South Carolina's defense shows up in the second half. I think the first half is going to be fireworks. So I'm going to say 38-34 South Carolina. So they the over on that one, and they cover. That's what I'm thinking. All right, South Carolina. We have agreed on all picks except the TCU Colorado game. Let's get to this next one. This one's got a little bit of to it. I don't think it's going to be a game where we see an upset, but it's got potential. We are looking at the Clemson versus Duke Blue Devils game.
Dude, that low key is a sneaky game to watch.
It's a sneaky game, man. Like there's something in the air with this game, but for me, and you look at it, Duke had a better last 5 games last year, but Cade Klubnik is no joke in my opinion. Clemson is a 13-point favorite, 55.5 over under. I'm going to kind of get to the point on this one. I think if Clemson loses this game, what in the hell is going on out there in Death Valley?
What the hell is Dabo doing over there, dude? Like, what's going on? If you lose that first game to Duke, a divisional rival, you may want to start rethinking stuff.
Yeah, if you lose that game, you got some problems on your hands. So
you got to start rethinking the whole season.
Yeah, for me, this one is more about if they cover that 13-point spread. I think they do.
That's actually a really like close number between those two teams.
It is.
Like usually if it's Clemson versus Duke, it's like 21, 25.
I think 13. People respect Duke. I think people understand they got a good talent, good new coach. That quarterback is no joke. And it's just
that quarterback can run, dude.
He can.
I think he had like 31 touchdowns to 8 interceptions last year too.
Let's see this guy's
Maybe.
stats.
I could be wrong on that. He had a good amount of touchdowns last year.
He was good last year, man.
He ran, though. I think he had like over 500 yards rushing.
Man, if you're counting touchdowns, rushing, and passing, 33 touchdowns and 6 interceptions.
Dude, oh my God.
Yeah.
That's better than what Daniel Jones was at Duke.
13 rushing touchdowns, 20 passing, and 700 rushing yards to almost 3,000 passing yards. I mean, the kid's a dog.
13 rushing touchdowns last year? What's his brother's name?
Let's see. Riley Leonard. Riley Leonard. Fairhope, Alabama, baby.
Wow. Wow.
The dude's
That's
a dog,
name to
man.
Watch out for real, though. Like,
he had a 74-yard run last year. Yep.
Oh, okay. I'll give you my prediction.
Go ahead.
So, I looked at his stats last year, and it kind of shocked me that I saw that, and it was insane.
He's a dog,
because he did ball out. Clemson, on the other hand, it's hard to choose against Clemson. I want to take Duke. I want to take that underdog, but I've already taken Colorado today.
enough pixie. Yeah.
I'm going to take Clemson. Just because they have Dabo there. Cade is coming back for a whole season starter now. They have depth on their depth chart for sure at wide receiver. What's his name at running back? Shipley.
Will Shipley, yeah.
Shipley. Yeah, he's going to be good next year. He reminds me of like a Christian McCaffrey, or I would say, Christian McCaffrey type deal, but more of a downhill runner than out in the pass game. But I'm going to take Clemson. I'm going to take the under. I don't think they cover the 13 points. I think it's a 7-point game. And I'm going to take it to be a 27. I'm going to take it to be a 24-17 game.
I like it. I think you're kind of in the ballpark for B2. I think it's going to be a lower scoring game. I think Clemson's defense finally shows up for the first time.
I think Clemson's defense wakes up for sure. I think it's been dormant these past couple of years. They haven't really had much explosion than we're used to seeing. Yeah, they had Brian Bresee and Miles Murphy, but really though, when have you seen these past few years? When has Clemson's defense really just opened your eyes, like pop out, like wow, they're super good. They're top 5, top 3. Like when is that? It's been a minute.
Yeah.
So I agree with you. I feel like their defense does wake up this year for sure and shows like, hey, we're still here. But later on in the year, there could be some, some turns down the road where they, kind of fall off.
Yep. I'm with you. In my opinion, it's just, I like Duke's offense. I think it might be a situation where Duke starts hot and Clemson adjusts. So yeah. I'm going to say, I'm going to make my prediction on this one is going to be a 24-10 win for the Clemson Tigers. I think they cover that 13-point spread. That's a tough spread to pick against, though. I mean, I like your 7-point game.
It's tough. It's really tough to pick against Clemson. Like, I'm giving them some grace. Like, I could have said a 3-point game, but 7 points compared to 13 points, I feel like is a little better.
13's just tough. Because that's tough.
I mean, Duke has a little squad.
They got a squad
coming. Like, they won their bowl game last year. They've been around in the ACC, but they're not like. I'm not going to call them a contender. They're not contending.
No, but like last year, their stats were kind of ridiculous on offense. So it's like, it's kind of
they were good, dude. They were at least, I think they were about maybe top 15 in offense last year.
Yeah, 33 points per game. That's pretty damn good, man. So
that's not bad. Plus, if your quarterback's got 13 rushing touchdowns, bro, oh my God.
Exactly. Compared to Clemson's team points per game, it was.
I'm guessing like 24, 25.
It was actually 33 as well. So, comparing last year, offensively, they were pretty similar. So,
I think last year, offensively, it kind of took a hit because you didn't know who was going to be your quarterback.
Exactly.
Because you were going between DJ and Cade, and then you finally made the decision to start Cade. And I think, what if Duke does win this game? What if Duke does win this game and wins in impressive fashion? Where do you put Duke at? Where do you rank them at?
If they win that game, they're definitely a top 20 team.
Well, I'm talking about the ACC. Where do you rank them? Like, if they beat Clemson, if Clemson loses that game week 1, you can throw – I'm telling you, if Clemson loses that game week 1, you can go ahead and throw the playoffs out the window. It's not happening.
Oh, God, no. It's over after that.
No, because if they lose that game and then they lose to a Florida State or Notre Dame – or North Carolina, like no matter what, if you lose this first game against Duke, go ahead and throw it out the window. It's not happening.
100% agree on that because, man, that's so – oh, man. That's
honestly, I would look at it as Clemson's downfall.
If they lose that game against Duke, it's like that's rock bottom.
If you look at it, that's Clemson's downfall right there, dude. Like, in my opinion, Clemson will not come back from that loss at all.
That's tough. If they lost that game, bro,
that would be. Oh man, that would hurt. That would hurt a lot of people. It'd make the ACC a lot more competitive, though.
Yeah, it would be. It would.
Like the ACC would totally be up in the air. I think every conference right now is like you can take yes, USC won their game, but every conference is up in the air right now.
Yeah, it's
every conference is up in the air. I'm not going to say Georgia. I'm not going to say Ohio State or Michigan. It's up in the air right now. It's anybody's division to win.
Yeah, and speaking of another ACC team that has a chance to win, we got Florida State versus LSU as our last
game of the week and possibly game of the year.
So good. 2.5-point favorites are the LSU Tigers in this one, and a 58-point over-under. Man, it's tough because Florida State finished that season last year on fire on offense.
Dude, strong. Like, very, very strong.
LSU lost a weird game, but that A&M team started to put something together late. So They lost that weird game.
Hey, y'all beat Purdue. Hey, that ball game, y'all smacked Purdue. So
Yeah. Yeah, but Georgia 50-3 win over LSU. You know, the defense started to kind of show some flaws late last year. That's something that LSU knows.
50-3.
50-3 that was to get Georgia, yeah. 50-30.
But y'all only scored 3 points in the SEC championship?
No, 30. It was 30.
Oh, dude, I thought you said 3, and I was like, good Lord, there's no way.
I may have, honestly.
Watch the game.
50-30. We put up a better fight than TCU, at least.
Oh, dude, yeah, at least y'all scored.
At least we scored. It was fun for like
before
a quarter.
they put the 2s and 3s in.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun for like 2 quarters, and then they just started cooking.
It got competitive for 2 quarters, and then, yeah, they decided
we couldn't stop them, man. But let's get into this one. Florida State, LSU in Colorado. Sunday night football.
No, Nathan, it's in Orlando.
What did I say?
You said Colorado.
Did I say Colorado?
You said Colorado.
I'm tired, man. No. Orlando, Sunday night football. It is on Sunday. I know that.
Sunday night football before we get Sunday night football.
Dang right. So, what a game we get here. Week 1 kind of get us ready for this rest of the season. Has massive implications. We've talked about it. We don't have to highlight it anymore.
Implications for sure.
Yes.
Who knows, dude? This could be whoever loses this game. They could see him in the national championship or in the playoffs.
You never know, man. You never know.
There could be a round 2 for this game for sure.
You never freaking know. What a chance for Florida State to kind of earn the respect of everybody in this game. And LSU.
Earn big dog status again, dude. I'm talking about big dog status.
And if LSU wins, they set themselves up for what, like we've talked about, a legitimate chance to, make the playoffs and have a chance to win it all once again. So
bring back that dynasty that y'all had.
Exactly.
But also, I mean, Florida State as well. Florida State could also bring back the dynasty that left them long ago.
Long ago. But
I wouldn't say long ago.
Super long ago. They are not good.
They're not good. They weren't good for a while.
Those Willie Taggart years were pretty tough, but now they are obviously very, very, very impressive. Actually, I may have just hang on.
What's the spread on that?
Spread? Yeah, Mike Norvell is their coach, man. That dude's a dog. But
he's good.
The spread is 2.5 LSU over under 58. By the way, sorry. So it's
2.5.
It's a field goal game. They gave it to LSU. I'm actually surprised they gave that being in Florida, but. Man, let's get into it. We've highlighted it enough. Everyone knows the implications that this game has on it. So, CDM, you start us off with this one. What are you thinking in this game?
It's going to be a game, dude. It's going to be – I think it's going to be an offensive powerhouse for sure. Defenses are going to wake up around the second half because then they're going to start figuring out, go in the locker room, watch the tape, figure out what offenses are doing. First half is going to be offense. Second half is going to be where the grit starts coming in, where you're pushing to get points on the board. And hopefully it doesn't come down to a field goal game. Last year, yeah, that's not a shot towards you. It's not a shot.
Please no. Please no. I can't do that again.
If it comes down to that again,
I'm going to lose it. I'm going to lose it.
No, but I think it's going to be a good game. As we said before, playoff predictions are in the air. I believe that whoever wins or loses this game, they can meet again in the playoffs. I think Florida State and LSU both make it. Depending on where they're ranked, they could meet in the playoffs to go to a national championship, or we could get an early preview of a national championship in week 1. It just depends.
Maybe.
Florida State right now, in my opinion, has better assets around Jordan Travis, wide receiver wise and running backs. LSU just has a team. They have a brotherhood right there. They have a squad that's been there for 2 years now. And I feel like Jalen Daniels has the upper hand. I feel like Jalen Daniels has the most experience, has more has the better play calling experience in game like that, especially with a big game at this moment. I mean, we've seen Jordan play in some big games, but we've also seen him like kind of crumble during the big moments.
Mm-hmm.
Jalen Daniels last year, we saw him overcome some of those big moments. Taking the Bama game, for example. I mean, what a game last year. I mean, I was upset that we lost, but I saw the way that we lost, and LSU came out and wanted it a lot more. So I'm going to take LSU this week. I'm going to take LSU in this game. It takes a lot for me not to take Florida State because I am really high on them this year.
Me too.
But, I mean, it's hard not to. I mean, it's really hard not to be. But for LSU, I've seen what they can do. I've seen them. They beat my team last year. I'm going to take LSU. I'm going to make it. I'm going to take the over. I don't think it's more than a 14-point game. If it is, I think it's going to be at least. Man, you said the total is like 58.
58.
Oh man, dude, that's a lot. That's a lot right there.
That's high scoring, man.
Oh, man. Oh, you know what? We're going to take this. I'm going to say it is 42-37.
42-37. I like it.
42-37.
Okay.
I think that's what's going to be it. But, best of wishes to all the teams that, play week one. Wish nothing but good health to everybody. But the prediction for LSU, I think that this is going to be the game that LSU is going to need to project them to be like, hey, we're coming for that spot next year. Yeah. We're not going to go for 5. We're not going for 10-2 in an SEC championship. We're going for a playoff prediction this year. We're going for a playoff spot.
Yeah. I liked everything you said, my man. It's one of those things for me in this game. I agree that they have the better skill player when it comes to a running back. I mean, this dude Benson is an absolute monster, man. He's a dog, dude. He's one of those guys that we talked about last week, best running back of the league in the country. He has an opportunity to put himself at the top of that list and maybe the top.
Deion Coleman is another guy to watch out for. Once again, Michigan State transfer to Florida State. They have a sneaky wide receiver room, dude. They have a wide receiver who's like 6'5".
Yeah,
it's just a jump ball machine.
Yeah, it's this guy right here. Yeah, 6'7", John H. Wilson.
Yes, dude. 6'7", dude. Throw him up the ball. Throw the ball up to him, but he gets it.
That is crazy big, bro. He's gonna have to change to a tight end in the league in NFL.
For 6'7" and a wide receiver.
But he was their number one receiver last year. 5 tuds, 900 receiving yards. They spread the love. Jordan Travis, we know what he can do with his arm and feet. And for me, it comes down to the quarterback battle, the coaching battle, and which defense makes just enough plays, man. I'm not even talking stops, man. I'm talking interceptions, fumble recoveries, to tip balls. Just who's going to mess up more? Who's going to cause the more mistakes?
Which defense is going to create more disruption?
Exactly. Because
if a team is on fire, you got to find a way to disrupt their rhythm. Because if they're in a rhythm, there's no way you're going to be able to get out of it. You got to disrupt that.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things, man. I don't think either one of these quarterbacks is going to be like, I don't think they're just going to make a mistake in this game. I just think they're going to be locked in. I just don't think a guy's just going to throw it into triple coverage and it's an interception, or he just fumbles the ball out of nowhere. I just think these guys are going to be fully prepared to kind of carry their teams in a certain way. And I just think which team is going to have the strip sack in the fourth quarter? Which team is going to have the tip ball into a safety's hands? Which team is going to fumble the ball on a kickoff and it's returned for a touchdown the other way? Who has a kickoff return? I think it's going to be those plays that change the game. I think these offenses they're going to just match. I think they're going to match each other. I think these defenses might match each other.
There's big implications of that happening for sure. But I agree with the coaching battle. The coaching battle is the big thing. And I think that Brian Kelly is going to be I feel like he's just going to be one step ahead at one point during the game. He's going to figure it out and have that one step ahead of Mike
Yeah.
And it's just going to be that's what's going to disrupt the whole game. It doesn't have to be the players, dude. It does not have to be the players to make the game-changing plays. It's the coaching.
Yeah.
Coaching can make the best game decision-making plays, and it's all because of the player. It's like the players do it, but it's all because of the coach. You got to give the coach the support, and I would say, what's it called? Credibility.
Yeah.
You got to give them the credit. And Brian Kelly right now, he's been to the highest stages. He's one of the most winningest coaches in college. No disrespect to Mike, but it's kind of like David and Goliath right now. David and Goliath. Brian Kelly being Goliath, Mike being David. If he can kick his butt and take him down, then they have a big chance of winning that game. But right now, Brian Kelly has the advantage of being around this more and, having a full year in the SEC now. You understand what comes with it. You understand the responsibility, the accountability, the determination to get into a situation to play for a national championship. And they had a chance last year. But ultimately, came short against Georgia. But if they beat Georgia, then they totally have a chance.
I mean, yeah, you hit it on the nail once again, man. It's just it comes down when it specifically the coaching is like experience, credibility, accountability. Which one of these coaches proves that they got their team most ready? Like Mike doesn't have the experience over Brian Kelly. Credit. He honestly has nothing against Brian Kelly when it comes to an entire career. Mike's just so young. He hasn't been able to prove himself.
He's got a young squad around him, too.
Yes.
I mean, that's another thing. I mean, there's so much that comes into it with big games like this. And another thing is, which player is going to surprise you the most and make the most unexpected plays? Yeah. As you said, kick returns, punt returns, fumbles, interceptions. That's a team effort. But which player is going to come out and show you, hey, this is my game right now. I'm taking over. Yeah. And I think that player is going to be Jalen Daniels. I feel like he's going to show up. And that's for LSU. From Florida State, it's Jordan. It's a quarterback battle. It's a total quarterback battle.
Yeah, I think the kid that could make, if it's not the quarterbacks, a kid that's going to make a difference, like I said, I think Benson is going to be a problem for LSU on the ground. And then I think Malik Neighbors might have a massive day in this one too. Running back by committee with LSU, they don't have a one guy, even though John Emery's been rumored to be this guy. He hasn't really taken the reins over the last few years. Last year was his best year in college.
He's been there for a minute, right?
Yeah, I think he's a senior now. So, I mean, it's senior. I mean, he was supposed to be a star, and he kind of injuries, academic situations, I think. So he's not been able to take that role. And like last year, leading rusher for LSU was Jaden. So, last year, leading rusher for Florida State was Benson. So it's one of these things.
I don't want to say that it's sad that your quarterback's the leading rusher, but it's kind of sad if your quarterback is the leading rusher. As I said before, dude, you got to have a run game.
You do. But he did have 900 rushing yards, so it's not like he was.
Oh, dude, there's nothing wrong with that. Like that's whew, that's good for Jay. That's good for him because that's boosting it up.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people are saying that he needs to make a transition to wide receiver, and you know who got told that a lot was Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, no.
Lamar Jackson got told before he even went into the NFL, "Hey, you should try working out at wide receiver. Hey, at the combine." Try and skip out on some of these drills. Go try these wide receiver drills. Look at what turned out to him. He's an MVP. He's a former MVP. Yeah. Don't try and trade. Don't try and make these guys something that they're not.
Exactly.
Keep them at the same position, dude. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. There's other opportunities for other teams that will give you a chance at that position.
Yeah.
Don't trade your position to fit somebody else's needs.
100%. 100%, and I completely agree when you say it's a quarterback battle. This one is going to be so fun when it comes to my score prediction. I am going to say 38-35 LSU.
Ooh, I like that one.
Game-winning field goal.
So we're kind of in the ballpark. I have a 7-point. You have 3-point. I mean, it's going to be a game.
Yeah.
It's going to be a game. It's going to be fun to watch, especially it's the week before Sunday Night Football, so we get back-to-back weeks with Sunday Night Football. So it's amazing.
Love it, brother.
God could not be, Thank you, big man.
It's here, baby. Football's here. Finally.
It's here, man.
Let's
Football's
go.
here. I hope everybody out there is excited as much as we are.
Yes.
Because I can't wait to continue to pump out content for everybody.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And that'll do it for us on this episode.
That'll wrap it up. Episode 2, baby. I mean, it couldn't have got any better. I think we hit on every point.
Yeah, we did. We actually stayed longer than last time. Look at that go.
Shocker.
We just love talking college football, baby. But like we said, man,
it's so nice to get into because, I mean, we don't talk as much during the week, so it's all bundled up until we get on the pod. Then
exactly.
We have to, let it, even before the pod, we talk about it.
Exactly, man. Exactly. So appreciate it, CDM, as always.
Man, brother, always a pleasure, can't wait to be posting out content, I'm going to start trying to do blogs going to games.
Yes.
So, watch out for that for College Kings on social media. Instagram and Twitter as well. Don't be afraid to go by and give us a like and follow us as well.
Yep. Yes, sir. Like he said, follow us, subscribe to us, Nate Dogg Sports, College Kings, whatever it is. Go find us, follow us. We're pumping out content.
Find us and like us.
Yes, sir. And all podcast platforms now. So go check it out. YouTube as well. Twitter, full video podcast. So it's out everywhere. You can find it anywhere you want to if you just look up College Kings. That'll do it for us on episode 2 this week, and we will be back with some massive recaps of week 1, and you will see us next time on College Kings.
Thank you, guys.
Peace.